and activate. It says we're live. Yay. This is probably our only stream for the year. The only stream we'll ever do for a year. Well, we did 3 streams last year, mainly with guests. And you know what? It was quite fun, quite enjoyable.
Not really into streaming anymore.
Word on the street is Ethan's not really into chicks. But we've been dumping incredible amounts of shit on our Subscribe Star. There's tons of videos, tons more videos are going to be going up. And the reason why I wanted to do this was because it's a kind of an immediate thing and covers a lot of recent shit that we were thinking of recording a video, and I was like, but if we record a video about this, it would have to go up pretty quickly because it's pressing information, big news, as they say. And also to preface this, we don't have to preface this. We don't have to disclaim this ever. It's always true whether we disclaim it or not. But everything we're talking about and covering, everything we mention in this stream, like all of our videos, has been backed up and verified by numerous independent sources, as always. So
we're not going back over them either.
If anyone shows up and says, I don't think this is true, you've already been disproven wrong. Usually months ago. We've had that happen. That happens constantly. That's the only argument Comicsgate comes up with, is denying evidence that had already been proven true, that they never acknowledge the evidence. They just say, no, it's not true. They don't even deny the evidence. They just say,
it's a distraction campaign. It's designed to fucking hamstring us by making us go over the same material over and over again.
A distraction. As Nick Mullen said from the wonderful Arthur theme song, it's a distraction campaign.
Similar to the Holocaust in that manner.
It's to keep the Holocaust, which of course is the only genocide that has never happened. There's never been another one. And the Armenians are all liars, according to the Arthur theme song. Personally,
and it's sort of also similar to how Ethan Van Sciver was kicked out of 109 friendships.
We still remember that because it's fucking it's not only hilarious, but it's also been true. And I think it's always worth repeating. Anyways, so we wanted to stream because we wanted to cover a lot of the shit that's been happening. Now, normally we would do a video that would just go up on our Subscribe Star, and our Subscribe Star has a lot more of the details about the previous shit that we'll be
talking about. That's where the truth nukes are being fucking exploded.
It's the Shadow Moses, where the truth nukes are being kept in cold storage,
and occasionally blown up.
Yes, for fun. Just fired, just launched by a railgun attached to some kind of bipedal machine or something, or perhaps something even better than that. Perhaps something to surpass.
Perhaps just a really big werewolf
that fires it. And the railgun, it's his dick, of course. Naturally. Speaking of werewolf, I can't promise anything too much. But Villains of the Snow Sea 3 might, not soon, but it might have some work being done on it later in the year. Literally 3, I think, will be done sooner, and I'm going to make
this. I'm going to make this proclamation without any fucking possible evidence, but
it'll be true.
Villains of the Snow Sea 3. It's going to be out before whatever the fuck Ethan does next.
Yeah, which the thing is, it's funny because he's already been late on that Rainbow the Brute, not to be mistaken for Rainbow Brute, which is somebody else's IP that they came up with first years earlier. But the Rainbow the Brute is already late, and Cyberfrog 3 then would either have to be worked on first, and that's going to be late too, of course, and it will suck. Cyberfrog 2, we'll be getting into some of the shit that's happened with Cyberfrog 2, but
There's still not much left to cover with it. We've already covered it, and it's not like anything really new has happened.
Yeah, it's objectively badly written. That was true and obvious before it was finished. Again, the lawnmower man syndrome. That's how we know. If you don't know what that is, check out our subscribe star as usual.
Yeah, we covered this already in detail. We don't have to cover it again.
Yeah, we did a full review of Cyberfrog 2 on our subscribe star before it was even out because we're capable of that. We're the only people capable of that. And the thing is, our review of it is still accurate. And that's Ethan. All we're waiting for is Ethan to prove that true once and for all, even though we already know it's true. Girl, we know it's true even. Sigma Anti-Vaxxer says, did it finally release? Yes and no. He's releasing it to a few people so he can pretend that it's finished. And we have evidence of that we will be going into a little bit later in this show.
This was also something that I don't know if we covered this before, but this is basically what I suspect happened with the previous one as well. Fucking Cyberfrog 1. We have no confirmation to this day that it ever got released.
Actually, we have confirmation that it did not finish fulfillment. We've had several people who were backers who came out and said, yeah, it's been about 5 years and I still don't have my Cyberfrog 1, which means that Ethan Van Sciver has taken backers' copies of Cyberfrog 1 and resold them. So he took money for them up front and then took money for the same copies a second time when he sold them on eBay, even if he sold them just to himself to make it look like he's selling them for a lot of money. Because there's a lot of other, we remember people showed us screen caps going back years now of Cyberfrog 1 selling for like $20 on eBay. And after we laughed about that and made fun of that, then all of a sudden, a week later, a sock account on eBay would show up selling Cyberfrog to another sock account for like $200 so that Ethan could like prove to himself or something that he's selling, that it's reselling for a lot of money. And he would make a big performative post being like, Cyberfrog 1 is selling for tons of extra money. Your copies are worth a lot. And it was like, it was very clearly astroturfed.
And we've never that has not happened again since then.
Yeah, that happens like once and then fucking disappears after we've clearly ignored it. We only find out because
and again, this is the important part. No one's talking about it anyway. Yeah, no one is saying, "Oh man, Cyberfrog's really fucking going nuclear. It's selling even more. Copies keep selling for a lot of money." That just all of that vanished.
He was basically putting on a theatrical performance for nobody. He was hoping it was for us, but thing is that I don't keep track of any of this shit. People will come to us and send us screenshots being like, oh, check out what this is. Or people will come to us and say, oh, his latest stream. And it's like, yeah, I'm not going to look at that.
Did you see what he said lately? Don't care.
Yeah, people don't even clip it. And I'm like, even if they clipped it, though, I usually don't watch it. It's like, please feel free to send the clips to all manner of other people, post it anywhere, talk about it. But if you don't clip it, if you're just talking about it, I'm not going to even pay attention. Somebody says, is truth a drug? Yes, it is. And it's the kind of drug that just one line of truth will make Comicsgate overdose and have a heart attack and die, as we've seen multiple times in the past. Very tragic.
Like cocaine, it will kill them instantly.
Yes. Or it's like ivermectin. It will turn them into a horse and then kill them. Very tragic. Very unfortunate. It's almost like it's the truth is the cure for the disease that is them. Anyways, so what I really wanted to do, though, to get off the right off the bat was cover something that's not huge or drama or funny. In fact, none of this is. We just use the clickbait name because it's like a joke on, all the other YouTubers, which is something else I wanted to get into later.
People keep falling for marketing.
Willingly, in fact.
It's amazing how gullible people are when it comes to being marketed to.
Yeah. Timeless truths do not fear the acidic spit of the banking goblins. Anyways, here is something I wanted to, something I found out about screen cap. I got sent or told about earlier today is Common America 7 launches, and it launched yesterday, and it made like $80,000 again. Fucking over 1,000 backers already. Just a big hit. And again, that's on Kickstarter, so each backer is independently verified, as opposed to Indiegogo, where as has been proven and talked about previously, especially on our Subscribe Star videos, link in the description. We've gone over the receipts and the proof of that. Where on Indiegogo, if you donate $1 to a campaign 100 separate times, it shows up as 100 backers. Whereas on Kickstarter, if you donate $1 to a campaign and try to donate $1 again, it just says, "Did you want to change your pledge amount?" That's it. So Indiegogo lets you create phantom backers very easily by just donating over and over again.
And you can imagine how easy that would be for somebody to just be like, fucking here's $101. Donate this 100 times.
Yeah. And
or
you can,
whatever.
donate to yourself. It's obvious. You can make a sock account. You can still make a sock account and donate on Kickstarter, but you would have to make multiple sock accounts to pad the backer number. And of course, there's the whole concept of being able to donate money that is fake. You can, donate $1 million and you just simply don't ever pay it, something like that. Cancel your payment or your credit card. We've done videos on our Subscribe Star going back years now of people donating to Indiegogos where they would donate like a few $1,000s right before the campaign closes because the campaign wasn't going to meet its goal. Like it's a few $1,000s away. Before the campaign closes, it gets suddenly a few $1,000s. Then the campaign closes, and then that few $1,000s is instantly refunded and disappears. We've shown that with one of the guys from I forget, one of the Star Wars YouTubers did that. And again, we plan to get into some of that. There's been a huge public backlash. A lot of people are just deciding that they're fucking done with this whole fake culture war. There's a huge aspect. Again, we've been covering this for years. We've been the sole people covering this on YouTube. The only people who have ever talked about this on YouTube is that there's a giant contingent of thousands and thousands of people with hundreds of thousands of subscribers who are completely astroturfed and imaginary, that are paid for by their corporate run YouTubers that are sort of nerd culture revolt and stuff. All of them are completely fake. The evidence has already been proven,
including the guy who is being proclaimed as being the most successful comic book fucking
there's tons and every single one of them does that. Every single one of them says that they're the most successful independent creator, and then another comes along and says they're the most successful, and then another one comes
Order of the Stick. Order of a Stick was real.
Yeah, and again, that's on Kickstarter, where you can't really fudge the numbers, at least as far as backers. And again, we've covered all of this in multiple previous
I think
videos.
it's been a while since we even talked about the that Order of the Stick campaign, which first off, that was an actual comic that already existed.
Yeah.
He wasn't taking the money to start making the comic, unlike somebody else, we could say.
Or he didn't have an excuse to fucking not have the comic made. But also,
there's so many ways in which Order of the Stick was superior to Isom and Cyberfrog.
Yes. But there's a huge contingent, of all this, which has been covered. And as we've also had to explain, and it's true whether we explain it or not, but we want all of these videos, all of our videos on our Subscribe Star, we want them to be public. And we used to make them public, but they were getting false flagged by people in Comicsgate. The evidence of that has been public as well for multiple years now. So again, Everything we're saying and everything we're going to say had already been independently verified by multiple sources. So if you disagree, you're disagreeing with objective reality. And that's always going to be true. If we state our opinion, we'll say that it's an opinion, or we think, or speculation, that kind of thing. But all the other stuff is objectively quantified and has been verified already. Sometimes years in the past.
Material. It's trotting old ground.
There's a lot of people who are like, I haven't heard anything about that. And it's like, yeah, you wouldn't, because you don't expose yourself to
it. It's not because we didn't say it.
Yeah,
we fucking said it.
You choose to cover up the truth. That's why you don't know about it. You hide
the same thing. It's the same reason why the channel got pulled down after being false flagged. You guys had the opportunity to prevent that.
Yeah, and by you guys, we don't mean our wonderful subscribers. Our subscribers are actually the people who want to know the truth. So if you're subscribed to us, it's because you actually want to know the truth. The other people, it's the people who claim to be part of the culture war, the people who claim to be anti-SJWs. Again, one of the biggest factors in the history of the human race right now is the fake anti-SJW. We've been doing tons of videos about that. All of our videos are essentially about that the culture war has basically been infiltrated and subverted by corporate-run astroturfing. And it had been years ago.
Gamergate never was. Gamergate never had these problems.
Yeah, Gamergate was grassroots. Common America was grassroots, and that's why I wanted to do this video.
Is.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the thing. Who else is?
The rest of it is astroturf. It's all fake.
King Wolf.
Yeah, King Wolf Comics is grassroots. That's all that's real. The culture war has basically surrendered. The anti-woke is essentially owned secretly by the woke, and all of the evidence had already been presented. It's true. It's a fact, as the wonderful Dennis Hopper said. It's a fact. Is history. So I wanted to just cover some of a bunch of separate pieces, because all of this has been covered on our Discord over the past week, and nobody does videos about this except for like Vicky and DA, and again, Vicky and DA, just like us, present the evidence, actually show the evidence, and the only way anyone tries to counter them is to just go no. And their evidence is that they don't like them. Their evidence is, I don't like you. Vicky and DA, they're just
Never once has Vicky or DA had somebody like totally blow them out and be like, here's a fucking verification that you are wrong. That's never happened once.
Yeah, even Ethan Van Sciver was forced to admit with Vicky and DA and us that he was proven wrong several times. And what he does is that used car salesman thing of being like, well, okay, so the heater doesn't work, but it's an opportunity to fix it. And it's like, but that's your job. You're the one who said the heater was working. You know,
you said that it would work, and it's also you said you would fix any problems that would pop up if it didn't work.
The way that Vicky was pointing out that there are hilariously blatant continuity flaws in the very beginning of Cyberfrog 2, which again still isn't out yet, and possibly has fake copies have been sent performatively to other YouTubers so they can pretend that it's finished. There's no evidence that it's finished because the people getting it are an exclusive, limited supply that, again, we'll be showing the evidence of that. The thing is, though, I can believe the comic's finished, but he's not sending it to everyone. As Ethan himself admits, he's not fulfilling the comic. And the comic's not finished if it's not fulfilled. Your comic has to fulfill, it has to be sent, has to be shipped. Everyone has to get it. So in that sense, Cyberfrog 1 was never finished either, which that was something that Ethan did also admit previously. Ethan said that he forced an unfinished Cyberfrog 1 out.
He allowed
because of the criticism.
The critics beat him.
Yes, he actually admitted that.
Him. You know what else also never got fulfilled properly anyway is Ribbit Coin.
Yeah, that's right.
That one especially never got a release.
In fact, that was the thing, is that yeah, we showed that Ribbitcoin was a scam and a fraud, that Ethan was publicly lying about it. And Vicky did that perfect video going over each individual detail of how Ethan lied about it, was caught lying, and was forced to back down. And after that, he was forced to refund the campaign, which means that he admitted that it's fake. You don't refund a campaign if they're lying about the Ribbitcoin, after all. Again, there's no argument. The only argument anyone in Comicsgate has ever tried to bring about that is, I don't like you. That's their only argument every single time. It's actually hilarious.
This goes beyond arguments. We're talking about actual fraud here, and we're presenting evidence of fraud.
Yeah,
and they're fucking.
We keep getting proven right.
Just kind of cope.
Every single time, their response just further proves us right. So, but the whole thing I wanted to start with is something that's not even related to that, but in a way is perfectly related to it. It's this concept of the Comicsgate backer as the entitled fan that thinks that you owe them everything. And if you fucking, it's funny, they never complain about this about the actual Comicsgate, like with fucking with Richard's comics or Ethan's comics. Well, with Ethan's comics, they do.
A lot of them do. There's a whole bunch of them.
We've covered that for years and years too.
Pissed off in his comments section.
All of that's extremely important to know too. But the the comment section, as we've been saying, we've been doing a ton of videos. In fact, we've been doing videos for the past year straight on our Subscribestar, where we just read the comment section of Ethan Van Sciver's Indiegogo campaigns, but not just his, but a bunch of other people in Comicsgate, like Cash Grab, Richard C. Meyer, and the way that they're losing their shit at the customers. Like even Richard himself has been doing these videos where, at the beginning, years ago, 2018, it was all about 2017. It was, comics creators need to respect the customers. And now, just last year, Richard is doing videos saying, oh, these customers, they think they're my friends now just because they bought a book from me. These people are crazy. Am I right? And it's like, you're the one who said that the creators need to respect the customers. So which is it? Because they can't make up their mind.
Specifically, he fostered parasocial relationships.
Yes.
With his followers. I mean, that's what you do also when you read super chats, when you're streaming every single day, 4 times a day.
We actually introduced
super chat after super chat as your content instead of providing your own content.
The term parasocial relationship, he got that from us. I know because I commented that word specifically on his videos, and then he started saying them in his videos. In fact, I only know that because people were telling me. People who watch his videos were like they're like, oh, check out his video where he says this. So I'm like, oh, okay. I go and I just, without watching the video, I leave a comment saying like, well, you fostered parasocial relationships. And then a month later, the people who watch his videos are like, hey, he just did this video where he's talking about parasocial relationships, just like that comment you left on his video a month ago. Again, every single time it gets proven and shown that they are in essence following everything that we're doing and saying, just the same way that we did invent Comicsgate. That's not a secret. That's not fucking like some bizarre accusation or something. We've shown that back in 2015, we did that post saying like, here's how to make a Gamergate for comics. Here's what we should do. Here's the ideas for it. That kind of shit. We still have the archive link. We've shown that around. That actually got John Delarose kind of depressed because he wanted to pretend that he invented Comicsgate in 2017. He was like, I did this blog post in 2017. And then I post the 2015 thread on 8chan where we invented Comicsgate, the idea. But again, that's a whole other story with like years worth of context. And it's almost 10 years ago now that we've talked about. But then even longer than over 10 years ago, we've been talking about, SJWs in comics. going back over a decade at this point. And so anyone you see on YouTube talking about SJWs and comics, it's not a coincidence that every word out of their mouths is parroting us from 10 years earlier. Every single thing we've said about comics back then, they parrot, but they don't really understand. Like we were the first people to point out that that manga outsells American comics. Again, about 10 years ago, we were the first people to do YouTube videos talking about it and showing the sales figures and that kind of thing. And but the thing is, we also talked about why. We went over the reasons why, whereas the other people in Comicsgate, when they now parrot that, or when you see other YouTubers parroting that, they don't understand why. They're like, oh, it's because of the woke mob, and it's because manga doesn't have the woke mob. And it's like, no, that's not true. You're wrong. You don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, that part's definitely not true.
But the thing is that in Japan, the woke mob is still like, politically, there's no blood for oil, followed by 200 pages of rape at knife point. For anyone else who remembers the wonderful classic Shining Musume 2 by Shuwasu no Okina. That one was just fucking one of the most bizarre, because again, it just starts with like a big pink page that says no blood for oil. So again, it wasn't anti-war. It's not like fucking Ron Paul, we shouldn't be involved in foreign wars. It was leftist politics followed by wall-to-wall.
For all I know,
rape.
A translator probably added that.
No, I know it didn't, because it's in the original Japanese one that wasn't translated. And I know that because I remember I used to fucking read and download tons of doujins.
They knew that fucking Americans were going to read it too. They knew English speakers would read it because everyone knows.
Well, that's another thing about manga, is that there's a lot of Western infiltration, and there has been for decades, but it's been increasing more and more, to the point where I think a lot of Japanese writers are picking up Western nuances for writing. But again, that's a whole other topic, and we've done videos about that.
We've also covered that. That's also old news, but this is the stuff that interests me.
Our review of My Hero Academia goes into that in a lot of depth, about why manga sells more, and about the formulas, though, about how they've nailed down the formula for storytelling. And it's a very strict formula, to the point where it's really stale, because it's the same formula over and over again. But then, so again, our American movies, the 3-act structure of the rising action, and we've gone over that in previous videos. So again, and a lot of those are public. Those are public on our channel. That's not even behind the pig paywall. Somebody in the chat here mentions localization. That's a whole other topic. That's something else entirely. And that's a topic worth getting into. And other YouTubers, I think, actually do a better job talking about the localization problem with mangers. But we are talking about the formulas and the appeal. Fan service is a major factor. But the thing is, fan service alone, I've read comics that were just fan service with nothing interesting, and they're boring, and they get canceled. The comics, the mangawas that make it and really have breakout success. Well, like Delicious in Dungeon is becoming a huge hit. We've been reading that for years. We did a review of that years ago too.
Getting an anime, or rather, I think the anime is already out.
And that has like no fan service. The anime, I think, is coming out. I don't know yet. I always like saving up.
Unless you consider cute elf girl getting horrifically tortured.
Yes.
Fan service.
Psychologically tortured, though. And it's funny, because that's where a lot of the edits, the oldest edits of elves are a proud and dignified race. And then the guy goes, as a cock sleeve, and then just cut to her horrified expression. That's from Delicious in Dungeon, and that is not the original dialogue. That's not the original dialogue, you guys. But
not the original.
But that's actually, I think, that and My Hero Academia, which I think My Hero Academia is completely mid. but it is entertaining to read still. I read a bunch of it, and eventually
it's certainly better than American Cape shit.
Yeah,
American Cape shit is so behind.
Fairy Tale is another example, as mentioned. Furious TV here mentions, welcome back, Furious TV. Good to see you again. But he mentions Fairy Tale was nice for first season and stuff. Fairy Tale is another example, a huge fucking, example of really a mid comic that's massively successful because it appeals to the lowest common denominator for manga readers, which is still a higher level than the lowest common or the highest common denominator for comic book readers. Most American comic readers, if they're actually looking for good stuff, they've already been reading manga for decades now. That's old news as well.
It is to the point now where anime used to be like kind of low rent storytelling for plebs. Now it is so far beyond American comic books.
Because it had that room to experiment. That was the thing. Again, I forget. I don't think we reviewed Akira necessarily, but we did a video about Akira, and the Akira movie, which sucks, but it's pretty empty. But the Akira manga is
pretty
fucking
vacant.
Yes, it's pretty vacant, but it's the manga though is fantastic. It's because it's funny. Where the movie is like dour and serious, and the hero is going to shoot a laser. None of that happens in the manga. Better stuff, more interesting shit, where they're getting blasted around by orbital lasers that's leveling the whole city. But instead of like, then everything fades to white, the end. It's like, no, look out for this shit. And holy fucking, the ending is completely different. Akira actually shows up and does things in the comic.
Yeah, that was something I forgot about the movie. Is like they mention Akira. The movie's named after Akira.
Yeah, they cock tease Akira the whole time, and then he doesn't do anything. Whereas in the comic, the Japanese comic boku, which is Japanese for Japanese comic book, he actually does think. Akira comes out and is like, yeah, I rule city. I rule the city now. It's mine. But he doesn't. He's kind of a puppet, and it's like Kaneda, who fucking or Tetsuo, who is the one who really. He's the one who's like, okay, everyone get all the drugs everywhere, and I'm gonna just vacuum them into my mouth like Kirby all the time, and that's how I'm gonna spend my life. And bring whores. And just like, again, none of that happens in the fucking movie. The movie's dumb. The movie strips out the soul and the spirit. It's like soul versus soulless.
In fact, I'm trying to remember if the fucking part where he turns into a giant blob even happens.
No, it doesn't. That's something they just made up for the movie. And again, it's impressive animation and bizarre, but the the girl gets squished to death in that. She doesn't die in the comic. In fact, her and fucking Canada, perhaps.
Canada, as he should be called.
They become warlords of the ruined new Neo Tokyo 3 afterwards. It's a bizarre ending, but it's better than the stupid dud bizarre ending of the movie. Again, we've covered all of this in a lot of previous videos. Some of them on our subscribe stars.
And we don't need to be going over this again.
No, it's just fun. It's fun to talk about again. It's interesting to talk about.
I like talking about things.
Yeah, we actually like talking about comics, as opposed to some other people on YouTube who pretend to be fading the culture war. That whole thing is imploding around everyone, and other people are seeing.
Forget about the fucking manga. When was the last time that fucking Ethan Van Sciver even talked about other fucking American comics that he likes?
Yeah,
because all I know is that he does fucking like daily streams about like woke Marvel. Marvel.
Yeah, that's another thing. Very important to talk about is all of them talk. The only thing these comics culture warriors talk about is the woke garbage, and it's like that's all you even talk about or have anything to say. It's just the same old talking points, though. They don't have anything new to add to it. They don't have any insight into it. Like the way we had insight when we talked about it years before Comicsgate ever existed. So again, they're just our watered down derivative. Comicsgate and the other comic nerd culture, Star Wars, whatever the fuck YouTubers are just the watered down Diet Shasta version of our original Coca-Cola with authentic
not
cocaine
even regular Shasta.
Not even the regular fucking store brand Shasta. It's somebody's bathtub Shasta that they made with fucking that stevia crap that fucking is partially cut with rice in. But yeah, our authentic Coca-Cola with real liquid cocaine. That just delicious.
Liquid cocaine, powdered cocaine, solid chunks of cocaine, crack rocks.
Delicious crack cocaine.
Delicious.
Smoking cat food, just fucking delicious. It's for sure good. And the most basted of red sauce pills, even. But yeah, the thing is that we don't soften it up. That's the difference. Is we don't pander, we don't soften it up, and we don't play the algorithm game. We just hit 1,000 subscribers just now. Good job. Oh, somebody says, "What about Dr. Thunder?" Well, that's a whole other level. You know what that's?
Can't even compare. Don't even.
Well, we can. Yes. When we say Coca-Cola with authentic cocaine, what we're really referring to is Dr. Thunder. We try not to refer to that too much, though. It's illegal.
Dr. Thunder is so amazing. Doesn't even need any cocaine at all.
Yes.
Like, how do you beat that?
It fucking it transmogrifies its own internals. Once it's mixed properly, it becomes a form of cocaine that also exists independently.
Hyper cocaine.
It creates a new element that is not on the periodic table, and it's exclusive to Dr. Thunder.
It's unobtainium. It's the unobtainium.
They're just goddamn trees. Anyways. Anyways. The
So what the fuck were we talking about?
Well, we're again the whole culture war, as we've established previously and proven over and over again. The culture war is fake. It's a fugazi. It's a pixie dust. It's
people who want to fight the culture war the most, right, or who claim that they want to fight it the most, are fighting it the least.
Oh yeah, another thing somebody mentions. Don't forget Razor's Bond Destiny Age. Yeah, the Iron Age is another. It's just an attempt to rebrand from the failed embarrassment of Comicsgate. But
yeah, that's the thing.
You can't declare again, as we pointed out many times before. You can't declare an age after
it. Is that there's nothing stopping him from calling it Comicsgate. He just fucking doesn't, because
now it's trademarked. So he can't. He's legally not allowed to, because Ethan Van Sciver won the trademark. So Ethan Van Sciver gets to own that poisonous trademark with a legacy of false flagging conservative creators
and he will
accusing people of homophobia and other SJW tactics.
It's fucking fucking Band-Aid Destiny will fucking promote Ethan Van Sciver's shit, but if he calls himself Comicsgate, Ethan will sue him, yes. And I think instinctively they both know this.
He owns the trademark, though, on SJW tactics and false flagging and accusing conservatives of being homophobes, just being leftists. Ethan Van Sciver now owns the trademark on that behavior. Good job for that. It's funny, Preston wanted the trademark for that, which, as we told Preston, it's a funny idea for a troll, but it's really ultimately stupid and useless.
It's a pointless maneuver.
Yeah.
You do this to trolls people, that's it. Don't go any further with this.
But the culture war overall is a completely, wholly subverted, artificial, it's a propaganda village with cardboard buildings and shit.
Potemkin village.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking of the propaganda village from the wonderful game Mercenaries. Classic. I wish they would remake that. Wonderful. Anyways, I'm just
what we need to bring back. That is what we need to bring back.
Yes.
Not 90s comics.
Gay 90s comics made for people who genetically have below average IQs. That's really, people actually thought that was the solution. Dumb people, of course, but it's just like people were trying to be like, oh, what are you guys talking about with this? You're wrong because I don't want you to be right, that kind of shit. And it's just like the piss thing, where some guy was like having a big argument with somebody, And it's like, oh, you fucking think white people have culture? Italian food isn't even really food, or just something stupid like that.
They didn't go into detail, but they were like, I was arguing with somebody on Reddit, on Plebit, about fucking Italian food.
And yeah, it was just this huge.
It was going on forever.
Drag out, yeah.
And the guy was like, I can't do this anymore.
But the other guy, the guy who was mad at him was like, I went to your fucking account and you go to these other problematic Reddits. And so he was going to go just block the guy, I guess, and just be done with because the guy was like constantly, he was going to other Reddits and replying to him in all of his replies across the entire website.
Yeah.
He was so mad about Italian food. So the guy was just going to block him. And he sees on his account the latest post is from r/piss, and it's about him drinking his own piss. And it's like, that is every person who has ever disagreed with us. I'm not saying that speculatively. I've actually seen that in multiple examples. Like, I had somebody who was like, you guys are fucking wrong and you're lying all the time. And then I fucking look at their account and it's like, I need help with my fucking, I have, here's a
trying to groom
MRI scan of my brain, and it's just these Swiss cheese holes in their brain. And it's like them in a wheelchair because they can't walk because they have brain damage. And it's like, this is the guy who wanted to, I was going to argue with this guy about how Comicsgate is astroturfed and fake. This is the guy who believes that Comicsgate's real. This guy with actual brain damage who fucking, he was in a car accident 20 years ago and had the entire top of his head shorn off by the steering wheel. But now he's on Twitter telling me about how Comicsgate is going to win the culture war. And it's like, yeah, it's just kind of depressing and sad. It's like, every time I'm tempted to even reply to them, it's like, oh yeah, you can tell, but by the stuff that they say, they're like, what are you guys even talking about? And it's like, here's the timestamp in our video where we show the screen. They're like, Ethan never did this. And it's like, here's the timestamp in the video where Ethan, that has an archive link of Ethan saying that. And then you'll find people in Comicsgate will actually say shit like, the archive link is probably fake. And it's like,
you photoshopped this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've
one of the first ones actually do that. I don't remember even who it was, but somebody accused us of inventing like photoshops of like somebody's tweets of I think it was Ethan.
That's why back in the game we were involved in Gamergate, and back in the Gamergate days, as we had been part of, the rule was to archive everything, not just screen cap it, but archive it and put the archive link in the screen cap so that you can actually go there. You can at least type out the archive link. And we do that all the time. And nobody else does. But Comicsgate doesn't even rise to that level. They'll just go, no, because no. And they have no argument at all. They'll fucking like tie themselves in pretzel knot. It's actually sad to see. But it's always worth bragging about how they're just incapable of it. Somebody mentioning here, conservatives, what do they stand for again? Conservatives are just liberals in denial, right-wing clothing these days. Yeah, it's the neo-Leninists are the real transphobes thing, just like that Stone Toss comic, which interesting to realize also. What support for Stone Toss have you even seen from Comicsgate? There isn't any, because Stone Toss is an actual conservative, whereas Comicsgate
they're afraid of being seen supporting Stone Toss because not only is he a real conservative, but he is serious.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, this is all right. This is what Ethan said he was trying to protect fucking comics from.
Oh yeah, no, he also said that he spent thousands of dollars protecting Comicsgate from the alt-right. And yeah, I have the screen cap of that too, if I can eventually get to that. But here's what we'll start off with is Common America 7 launched, big success, and every time Common America launches a campaign, there's a bizarre contingent of sock puppet accounts that shows up in the comments You can tell that Ethan Van Sciver is angry about Common America's success because you'll suddenly see a bunch of sock puppet accounts that were just registered that are talking about how much they hate Tim and Mark and us and fucking all that shit.
That was actually one of my favorite things too. Is Ethan usually has a little cope sissy fit whenever something gets released.
Yeah, without a sock puppet. Yeah, without a sock puppet, Ethan will just go on his main account and start having meltdowns and start screaming about how Tim and Mark are conservatives and how angry he is about Tim and Mark being conservatives.
But last time it happened, it was because you released a comic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was just a few months ago. It's been happening constantly, and people have noticed that Ethan Van Sciver is completely hairless now and has been, as you can check out some of our other recent videos, Ethan Van Sciver has actually been forced to dye his beard because he's gone shock white from the stress in his life of how angry he is at Common America successfully launching and fulfilling before they've launched like 5 or 6 different giant fucking books. I think they've put out like fucking 300 to 400 pages of comic since Ethan has even released his last book in like what early 2020 or something.
But not even fucking his comics. You released a comic and that he fucking melted down even more hardcore.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Ethan actually just came out and said that he was glad that we got false flagged. And again, we have the archive link of his tweet of that too, which he'll go and delete the tweet. That's why we have to archive link it, because when he deletes it, then everyone in Comicsgate pretends that it never happened. And when I say Comicsgate, that includes like all of the like the nerdrotic people and the quartering and all of those people who help run damage control and help cover up for Ethan being caught, because they've all been presented with the evidence. People have gone to Nerdrotic and been like, hey, did you see this evidence of this? And Nerdrotic will just ghost them and ignore it and not talk about it. With people like Nick Rekieta, when evidence is presented, he'll have the person, like with that Umbrella Guy, it's like, here's evidence that Umbrella Guy is false flagging and that his wife was fucking other guys, and that they were catfishing complete strangers for no reason, and that that Umbrella Guy sold his child to a child molester, telephone time, that whole thing. And when that is comes out and is presented and people confront Rekieta about it, Rekieta then has that Umbrella Guy on to do a sort of fake performative dunking on the haters video where they don't acknowledge any of the stuff that was brought up. They just try to act like, yeah, we're all making rich money.
They know at the very least that if they bring it up, people will look it up. And if they look it up, it's the truth.
And the fact is that they are right about their fans are making them rich, supporting them catfishing and being cuckolds. Nick Rekieta's fans have directly funded his Jamaica trips to Hedonism 2, where his wife gets fucked by other guys, and all the Baldo purchases and that kind of shit. If you're a fan of Nick Rekieta, if you've supported him in any way, you have supported that, but you've also supported everything that he has helped to platform. So if there is actual child molesting going on with that, by supporting him, you are directly responsible for that. And you're also responsible for helping to cover it up, which, again, Kiwi Farms only just barely scratching the surface on realizing that years late after we had shown the evidence of it. Kiwi Farms completely in the dark as usual, as they have been for a long time. As the saying goes, you can find out about it from Shitty Webcomics now or on Kiwi Farms in 5 years, which has been proven true again with the whole Nick Rekieta thing. And the fact that, again, he had covered up for a guy for one of his friends being outed as a cuckold. He directly ran interference and misdirection for that to keep people from knowing about it. What kind of YouTubers are you supporting when you support that? When you support people who are friends with them and help back up their hoaxes and their false narratives and their astroturfing and all that. You have to think about it. Hundreds of thousands of people on YouTube are helping to support just straight up lies and fake news, if you will. But there's a weird contingent of them who think that they're Trump supporters as they are also never Trumpers at the same time. Just like Ethan was outed as a never Trumper by his own friends, but he acts like he voted Trump when he didn't. And his friends were like, he actually blocked people he knew personally in real life because they were like, you were just saying the other day that Trump was dangerous for the country, and now you're saying that you support him, and all of a sudden blocked. And again, that's all been documented years ago too. So it's very interesting what people ignore, and that's what gives us the position of truth. There's a sort of concept that people are still unaware of, but is very important. It's called putting the truth in your blind spot. That's what everyone in Comicsgate does. Every single supporter of all of these YouTubers, they willingly do it, where you tell the truth, but because it's against a person they like, they put the truth in their blind spot. So you can say, here, this happened. And they'll go, no, it didn't happen. So now they're completely unaware of objective reality. And we have seen it in action.
I've also seen it happen where these exact same people will come back like 2, 3, 4, 5 years later and be like, oh, yeah, I always thought that, but I couldn't say anything about it.
I guess you guys were right. We've seen that a lot. And it's like, hey, you know what? If you realize it eventually, that's okay. I'm okay with that. But yeah,
don't pretend like you were always on our side.
Yeah, don't pretend that you
were in our corner when we got deplatformed.
Yeah, you were directly aiding the people who were deplatforming and being SJWs while pretending you're against SJWs. It's very important to realize, because all of this is related even to the stuff we want to talk about right now that we're getting into. But the that one Comicsgate artist, that really embarrassingly old guy who spilled his piss bottle.
Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, well, there could be any of them, but the guy who spilled his piss bottle. Recently, I saw where he was like, "Oh, the Work the Wizard chick, she's so hot, she's so wonderful." That horse-looking chick who does Work the Wizard. He was completely simping for her, even though he's like 70, and people.
Fuck off.
So people started making fun of him because she sent nudes to another guy, the deaf colorist guy who did the coloring for Cyberfrog. But she sent nudes to him and was sexting and all that kind of shit. So people started making fun of Piss Bottle Guy for simping for her. And he was like, no, that's true. No, that's false. It's not true. And it's like, that's old news. People in Comicsgate were joking about it. Ethan Van Sciver called her a thought and said that she was annoying. He fucking hated her. He said a lot of shit bashing her. But it's like, so you've just put the truth in your blind spot because you don't want to accept it. Is that the person that's the kind of person you are? That's what the life you want to lead, is a person who ignores objective reality just because you don't want to? No wonder you're in Comicsgate. And again, all of the people who supported all of this, and it's bigger than Comicsgate, but Comicsgate is the shining example, the shining city on the hill, run by electronic old men and their flexibility. But that goes into what we want to talk about with Common America 7, of course, a big success. So Comicsgate is going to cope and have panic attacks. But what we saw,
at least they're not any longer trying to take credit for its success.
Yeah, that's ended. They used to do that like a year or two ago, and that's over now because those screen caps that you goaded out of Ethan, of him having a meltdown, of him screaming about how much he hates Common America and hashtag fuck iconic comics. People in Comicsgate who were still in denial about Common America having anything to do with Comicsgate were basically mugged by reality to the point of like fucking losing an eyeball and fucking having their throats slashed by facts over that one. So yeah, a lot of those people in Comicsgate who wanted Common America to have something to do with it have been sort of shipped off to the nursing home to shit in a bag for the rest of their lives because of the brutal truth rape that they received from hate facts, if you will. But yeah, so Common America coming out, and the Indiegogo, it launched on Kickstarter and Indiegogo simultaneously, and Common America has always had a bigger showing on Kickstarter because of, well, lots and lots of reasons that we've gone into in previous videos. I won't get into that again. But Kickstarter is a better platform for comics for reasons we've proven that Comicsgate is afraid of acknowledging, or if they even try to argue, it will be to deny the facts and hide from reality. But the Indiegogo had a smaller stock available, and they sold out first day on the Indiegogo. In fact, they sold out of a few of the tiers on the Kickstarter.
It's actually, yeah, it's once again they're doing better. They keep almost doing better and better.
Yeah, too successful for their own good and constantly growing, whereas, you know, everything in Comicsgate is plateauing and has to be forced. They have to be cornered onto Indiegogo where you can fake the numbers more easily. But the people on Indiegogo who swear by Indiegogo do so for fake reasons. There was a hoax narrative going around on Comicsgate years ago that Comicsgate creators were kicked off of Kickstarter, which wasn't true. They created
very a lot of performative stories and SJW of Comicsgate to make that claim when it's not true.
One of the pieces of that was Richard claiming that he had been rejected from Kickstarter when in reality he wasn't. The story of that is more complicated, and there's a lot of fake information about that saying that Richard was banned or that his thing was rejected. But he launched a Kickstarter recently. In fact, he had several Kickstarters before this, going back to 2015. We've covered those in some Subscribe Star videos, and he launched a Kickstarter somewhat recently, I think last year. So clearly he's not banned from Kickstarter. But again, there's a lot of tons of excuses in Cope being like, oh, it's a different, you know, whatever. It's still lies from Comicsgate. Space Cowboy says, why is anyone loyal to Indiegogo? It's a very interesting question, because the answer to that is that you can fake the numbers on Indiegogo easier. And as Ethan himself admitted multiple times, and we have a screenshot showing here that we want to get into, Ethan admitted that the special agreement that they had with Indiegogo behind the scenes is now in trouble. And I do want to get to that. But the main topic I really wanted to get into, finally, like an hour in, I don't even want to tell you it's an hour in, because like it's been an
million thousand hours,
40,000 million. But yeah, so people on Indiegogo, I don't know why people back on Indiegogo at all. I know that
I don't know why anyone would back Comicsgate comics.
People on Kickstarter were like, it says Black Lives Matter on Kickstarter. They've gone woke. But Indiegogo did the exact same thing. So again, the only difference is Indiegogo had a secret backroom agreement that Ethan had publicly admitted to, and has also re-admitted to recently on Kiwi Farms, which Kiwi Farms, again, barely even aware and noticing that all this shit is happening right under their noses. Some of them are aware. I will give credit to a few people on Kiwi Farms who are definitely aware of what's happening, although not as much as us. So sorry. Anyways, so yeah, they sold out of some of the tiers on the Indiegogo very quickly because there were less. They as
that's the thing with a physical run. When you have a physical fucking run of a fucking comic.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, that's the thing, is that if you read the digital version, you get unlimited stuff. Now they had some really cool looking stuff, like the ramen cup plushie thing.
I want that.
Yeah, But I think it's all completely sold out already or something. If it hasn't sold out already, you better jump on that. Go look on Common America 7 on Kickstarter. If you really swear by Indiegogo, you can still buy the digital copy on Indiegogo. See, that's the thing, is that what we wanted to cover is there are these people acting like the world fucking ended. And it looks like really it's sort of Comicsgate agitators who are fucking pissed off about
I'm coming out right now and I'm saying it plain as day. These people are not actual fans. They're Comicsgate.
Yeah.
I even speculated that one of them was probably War Campaign.
The thing is, a couple of them are actual customers. In fact, I think the OP here is also. But it's funny, like it speaks to not just Indiegogo, but kind of the audience overall for American comics. We've been doing videos about this for years as well.
Yeah.
The American comics audience is, even Richard C. Meyer agrees with us about this, is that the American comics
audience,
I
said it.
Yes. Is one of the worst, most entitled, spoiled, petulant, whiny fan bases in the history. They're like the Steven Universe fan base. They're that tier.
Taste too.
Yes.
How fucking Richard was one of the fucking first people to clue me into that with his own tastes.
He fucking like, you know what though? I almost feel like Gods of Egypt is too good for him to even deserve to enjoy. And I'm sure it's a shit movie, but he wasn't saying though that it was a shit movie that he liked it. He said it was a good movie. And it's like, it's fucking even Forge didn't like it. Even Forge, not that Forge has bad taste or anything. He does work for the law offices of A.G. Firth, though. I mean, you always got to take that into a factor. But anyways, so OP here says, I really wanted this cover of Common America 7 with Gaiden, which is Common America Gaiden is a printing of the webcomic version they've been doing for the past year, which I would like. I would also like that, but
I would like that. But again, it's on the.
They sold out. They apparently completely sold out of Common America Gaiden. All of them. They don't even have like copies they can give away to nice, happy, delightful pals like us. Which means holy shit, the demand was that big. So I'm glad for them. It's like as much as I would like the book, I'm glad that they sold out, that they're that successful. Anyways, he says, why is the print run so low at 50? And Tim says, we've seen a significant drop in Indiegogo backers over time, so we allocated less of our stock to Indiegogo and more to Kickstarter. And the guy says, well, you're not going to be adding numbers. It is the OP here who says, you're not going to be adding numbers by doing tactics like this. Like it's some kind of fucking underhanded scheme to just put more of your focus into the more successful and better platform.
Somebody owes this customer. That was another thing also somebody brought up, is
like Wi-Fi on the plane.
The customer is always right is actually a truncated version of the actual quote, which is the customer is always right in matters of taste.
Yes, in matters of taste. If the customer is like, I want to watch Gods of Egypt, and it's like, here you go, here's Gods of Egypt. But if they're like,
but go ahead and watch it.
If they're like, I want Gods of Egypt on VHS, and you're a fucking piece of shit. Or rather,
I'm making my own movie. Oh, is it Gods of Egypt? No, I'm not making Gods of Egypt. Well, then you could go fuck yourself. You shouldn't be allowed to make any movie. That's how Comicsgate is.
Yes,
that's how
unironically
comic book fans act.
Yeah, that is the comic book fandom in America. Now, again, the reason why Tim and Mark really have been appealing to the Japanese audiences more is because the Japanese audience is healthy as people. Not just the market is healthy, which it is, but the audience is just positive. They're like, oh, I like this. This character's cute. Oh, the capybara named Badger is cute. And they'll do fan art and shit. And that's it. Whereas the American audience is like, oh, you're making less versions on Indiegogo, but you fucking piece of shit. So again, it's fucking this.
You've betrayed me, and you've betrayed everyone in comics.
This fan entitlement, the concept of fan entitlement, is really embarrassing to fandoms, but it's also the inherent nature of all fandoms. This is what fandom is.
Well, it's the inherent nature of all fandoms, but let's also face facts. Comic book fans are the worst. I always thought that anime fans were the worst. I think comic book fans are in fact worse.
Anime fans certainly were worse, like especially back in the late 90s. They were really thin-skinned, just like this. But yeah, so the guy says, you're not going to be adding numbers by doing tactics like this. It would have been better to just have
already proven wrong
on Kickstarter. So again,
already proven wrong.
Yeah, because this guy's saying it would be better to have this exclusive on Kickstarter. And it's like, well, they put it on Indiegogo because some people swear by Indiegogo. And it's like, and if you're going to make some money putting it on both, if you're going to make more money putting on both, you should put it on both. And so that's why clearly this is just like CO on 4chan, where they're like, Come in America, it's about a seamstress, but it doesn't have any plot lines about how she knows how to sew. The creators clearly don't know anything about actually being seamstresses. And it's like, yeah, you don't understand the concept of writing. You don't understand the concept of fiction. You're really a comic book. You're on 4chan CO. You like comics and cartoons, but you don't understand anything about storytelling. This is really your point.
How do you get here? How do you even?
How do you get by? How do you get by? Yeah, how do you remember to breathe manually, even? But
definitely that's the thing. Manually or automatically.
Usually they don't get by.
Haven't been breathing.
Most of them are unironically like unable to work mentally. Like again, it's the piss thing. People who are this guy most likely is obsessed with drinking his own piss and posts about it constantly. But hold on a second, he's mad at Tim Lim here about this thing.
Hold up a second, somebody's gotta fucking change things around here.
Yeah, okay. Wait a second.
One of the customers of the worst fucking the worst medium ever is apparently upset because somebody isn't able to fucking grant their fucking wishes.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I have this many books at my store and somebody buys all of them. Someone shows up and it's like, why don't you have a book for me? It's that level of entitlement. The most entitled human being
somebody else bought all the copies.
Yes.
And they purchased them because somebody bought all the copies.
Yeah, but it's not that they're angry that there's no copies for them to buy. They're angry at the creator for not giving them one, for not having it for them. Like you are owed a limited supply of something.
You don't have an unlimited print run?
Yeah, this guy says it would be better if you just had this exclusive on Kickstarter and give buyers the option of which unlimited cover. And it's like, that's fucking, well, that's one person's opinion measured against the desires of literally thousands of other people. When you have to think, comic book fans never think about the other guy. If comics were dying on the sidewalk, this fan would walk right over them. And we just brought them on to make fun of them. Anyways, Tim replies saying, some of our readers are completely loyal to Indiegogo and refuse to ever use Kickstarter. Those readers wanted something unique to Indiegogo, so those options exist to make sure they are taken care of. Somebody else says, but 50 seems lower than usual, which, again, Tim is already explained. That's another thing about comic book fans. You can explain it to them and explain it to them and explain it to them, and they still won't get it. You can spell it out with fucking crayons, and they won't get it.
Like a child would have gotten this by this point.
Sigma
to a child, they're going to understand what you're talking about.
This sums it up right here. Comic book fans never think.
Have they ever thought?
Have they had a thought? So anyways, But 50 seems lower than usual. Tim says, we ordered the same quantity as the last campaign, but because our plush toys arrived earlier than expected, we had to allocate an equal number of books per tier. So again, it's completely regular business practice. It's just supply. It's not even supply and demand. It's just supply. And comic book fans are like, what's happening? What's going on? You fucking piece of shit. About the concept, the mere concept of a physical fucking piece of thing, a physical object. I try to avoid webcomic comments because they're usually slay, yes, queen. Yeah, that's the thing. I fucking comments. I didn't even want to, I wouldn't have noticed this normally, especially Indiegogo comments. But first of all, the Indiegogo comments on Ethan Van Sciver's campaigns are hilarious and have been wonderful fodder for our pig paywall videos on our Subscribestar. Tons. It's like, it's over 20 parts now of a big series of us just reading the comments sections of the Cyberfrog Indiegogo campaign. It's wonderful, delightful, hilarious at Comicsgate's expense. And again, it's something that should be fucking international news with the whole culture war YouTube is the fact that some people have surrendered, but the culture war, again, has been subverted. It is owned by a corporation. It's owned by corporations. In fact, most likely, a lot of the money is going to YouTube, by the way. It's going to the woke mob. When you support your favorite anti-woke YouTuber, that money, a big cut of it is going back to the woke mob that they are on the platform of. That's the thing. We have 1,000 subscribers now. We could apply for monetization. We're never going to. I'm not going to play the YouTube algorithm monetization game. I'm not going to get super chats. I don't want that shit. Again, I just say, hey, fucking, if I want to make money from telling the truth that a lot of people don't want you to hear, unironically, we've been false flagged because people don't want you watching our videos. In fact, we've been false flagged by people with huge YouTube channels, and nobody talks about it except for us, of course, and a couple of other people. Vicky and DA, of course, always will mention that kind of stuff, and that's good. They remember stuff that even we don't, which is very important and worthwhile too. Here, Daka showing up. Hello there. Big ups, big shout out to STBR. The Star Trek but racist community has been wonderful people. There's a new Star Trek but racist compilation, in fact, on our Subscribestar right now, early access if you want to give money, become PayPig. But just to wrap up this part here, Tim says, we ordered the same quantity, blah, blah, and some other guy replies at the end saying, well, I guess I am done with Common America because of your decision to make the limits to only 50. Good luck with the series. And it's like, they are having good luck with the series. They're having so much massive success that they're selling out of tiers. You don't even like this passive aggressive good luck shit. Leave that shit with Comicsgate where it came from, with the fandom. And it's not just Comicsgate, of course. Comicsgate was just a combination of the entitled, whiny comic book fan who thinks that they're owed variant covers for like exclusive rare copies of comics that nobody else should have, that nobody cares about. I bought 20 copies of this comic so I could get the variant cover of Superman number 687. And it's like, I don't give a shit. What kind of loser nerd would care about that? And the fact is, that is the answer. So, again, it just proves what we've been saying about a bunch of not just the culture war, but just the culture in general for comics, the unhealthy culture for comics in general, the fandom, and all fandoms, though. We've been saying this for years on a bunch of our older videos. The problem is fandoms itself. Don't forget, fan is short for fanatic, not for healthy customer or reader or nice person. or mentally stable person. Fan is short for mentally unstable loser that you would not want to be alone in a room with. And again, Ethan Van Sciver and especially Richard C. Meyer made their success by pandering to them. It's the questionable content effect, as we've proven about 10 years ago now. Again, if you appealed to every schizophrenic out there, or every child, if you made something that appealed exclusively to every single child molester, you would make a lot of money from child molesters. If you made something that appealed to every schizophrenic loser with no friends, you'd make a ton of money from
Personally,
all these schizophrenic losers with no friends.
don't even see this as being necessarily that apt of a comparison, especially for questionable content. It's the coffee shop hipsters that he appeals to, but he actually makes his comic for coffee shop hipsters.
Yes,
Comicsgate makes their comics to save comics from SJWs. They don't make comics barely at all, and they certainly aren't saving comics from SJWs.
Well, in fact, they are SJWs. That's the other thing that people don't realize is all of these anti-SJW, anti-woke YouTubers are closet SJWs in practice, in public. Not just really closet SJWs. In public, they behave in this behavior that's fully woke. It's the woke mob in every single behavior and in belief and in political practice. Fucking like the way John Malin voted for fucking Obama and Hillary and whatever the fuck ever. The way that Ethan Van Sciver was publicly a never Trumper. It's very clear that the people, the political people, the politics of the people in Comicsgate are Ben Shapiro conservatives, which is to say not real conservatives. They're subverted. They are owned. They're corpo owned. In fact, their attention and money is being fought over by essentially two warring corporations, conservative corporations, basically summed up simply as the Blaze versus the Daily Wire, which, as we've been also saying, Steven Crowder is trying to get out ahead of the next level of the grift is the conservative grifter grift. It's the anti-grifter dollar. It's a huge market. Look at our figures. Yeah, that's a major factor, but also all of your fucking favorite nerd culture YouTubers that are fighting the culture war with nerdy shit on YouTube. Most of them are publicly owned and directly affiliated with these conservative corporations. The thing is, I wouldn't have a problem with that if it was real, but their beliefs aren't real at all. It's, again, it's the greatest ally syndrome where, fuck it, go die. It's not going to be dying for foreign countries. It's now you're going to go die for the Blaze or some shit like that. And a lot of them get really touchy about that too. They're like, "Fucking, well, I have nothing to do with it," and it's like, "But you are." Here's Glenn Beck promoting your fucking stuff, your channel, and all that shit. Yes, you are getting money from them. You're getting platform from them. You're getting promotion for them, of course. And the thing is, their only argument is ad hominem or name calling, which are the bottom rungs of the argument pyramid. The top rung, of course, being Laley looking smug with huge tits. Let's see, there was some other shit I wanted. Other delightful, happy things to show. Was this it? Yeah. Here is this full screen. I should have full screen first, but whatever. From late last year, it's really Lumdrop saying it's weird seeing people cheer about this when he has multiple other campaigns which are unfulfilled. Talking about Ethan's a Rainbow Brute that's already late, while Cyberfrog 2 was late, and then fucking there was some other comic that was late and other campaigns that are late too. And of course, Cyberfrog 1 apparently still not actually being completely fulfilled after 5 years. But he says, which are unfulfilled, which takes just as long for him to get around to drawing pages for. And Ethan says, multiple, you mean one? Just completely lying and allowing himself to be caught lying when there was, first of all, he's trying to act like Cyberfrog's not late. This is November 11th, 2022. Cyberfrog 2 still wasn't out, and it wasn't going to come out next month. He was telling people Cyberfrog 2 would be released next month and people would get it in December. And they still didn't. And even in January, they still didn't. And I think that's why you're seeing Ethan talk about sending Cyberfrog to people, is because he knows after months, people still haven't gotten it. He needs to make it look like people are receiving it. So he's sending performative copies. Lolo says, let's see if you can get another book out by 2025, big guy. And some simp shows up and goes, how do we bookmark a tweet? Because I'm going to be so obnoxious next month. And again, next month, this was in November of 2022. And so Lumdrop in January of 2023 replies saying, hey, guess what? Because, yeah, even by then, Cyberfrog 2 still wasn't out. And the fact is, if Cyberfrog 2 isn't shipping to all of its backers, it's not real. It never happened. Today's history. So we're shooting through some of this, but also, oh yeah, this one's funny, especially funny. Let me get this on. Yes, this from February 5th, so a few days ago, where another one of Ethan's like most desperate apologists and like damage control simps that has gone like full schizophrenic in his attempts to do damage control for Ethan's embarrassments and just fucking up over and over again. Saying people have been running with that late books narrative for a long time. Talking about Cyberfrog 2, the late books narrative, also known as the book being not just late, but it wasn't done yet. It was like there's a late books narrative. This guy doesn't know what narrative means. I screen cap this so I could make a funny tweet about how
I guess technically it is a narrative. It's a strong narrative.
Yeah, this one may be a little stronger. The concept, the term narrative, though, in the usage is supposed to be false narrative or manufactured narrative. A narrative isn't supposed to refer to truth or facts, but for Comicsgate, that's all they have. They don't have actual facts. All they can do is make responses to facts where they misdirect or just deny facts, which is again what the simps here are forced to do. He's reduced to doing this for the rest of his life. This is what his life is, just denying reality. It's kind of depressing, but it's also typical for comic book fans. That's what they're backed into this corner of having to deny objective facts. Point Man saying late book narrative. It's not a narrative. It's a legacy of failure. That is the legacy of Comicsgate, is attacking other conservatives and then late books. That's what Comicsgate's known for. And again, there are people right now who I know who have never known me before. Like they started following me on Twitter a few months ago, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I used to follow Comicsgate until they attacked Doug TenNapel." And that was it. That was the end of Comicsgate for them. And that was thousands and thousands of people. Now extrapolate that. Realize what that means. If one person thinks that, what happened to the rest of them? And doesn't it show Ethan's channel has not grown in any way for years? Even other people, even the other nerd culture YouTubers kind of drop him. Like that's where Iron Age comes from, is the embarrassment of this, of the fucking of the behavior of Comicsgate. The people who are like, well, maybe we should just own a Comicsgate. We'll call it something else. We'll call it Iron Age. But the thing is, you can't call something an age before it's happened when nothing has happened yet. Also, it's already rusted. Good job, Iron Age. Fucking one of the main guys in Iron Age is a fucking guy who will block you if you make fun of pit bulls. He's so thin-skinned.
He's a pit mommy.
And also jacking off on camera. Whatever you do, do not look up. Do not Google razor fist jacking off. It really is. I do have some sympathy for Razor Fist, how Hideo Kojima catfished him like that. It's very unfortunate. Mm-hmm. That video, by the way, I just stole. Somebody posted it to our Discord, and I'm like, I'm gonna upload that to our channel now. Now it's mine. Good, thank you. Whoever actually made that, though, actually thank you for real. That one is very funny, especially the Kojima stuff. But anyways, yeah. So this is how pathetic Comicsgate is now reduced to, is saying that late books is a narrative when the books are like calling the facts a narrative. That's fucking, what else do you have in your life? You're fucking just cornered, battered, being fucking raped at knife point by the truth and objective reality.
I mean, it's the definition of cope.
Yeah, exactly. That's another word, just like narrative, just like gay ops, where Ethan Van Sciver famously didn't know what the term gay ops actually means and couldn't answer when asked. And in fact, multiple people in Comicsgate were asked, what does gay ops mean? And they're like, well, it's just, and they had to go look up the definition. And even then, the definition wasn't what they thought it meant. Very dumb.
They couldn't even fucking talk.
They couldn't even cope, if you will. They have what doctors refer to as a failure to cope. Anyways, this, it says 12 minutes ago, but this is from a few months ago, like maybe November or December. I think November of 2022. On Kiwi Farms, Ethan, who has been getting blown out left and right, but he goes there because there are a few simps there who will suck his dick, and people on Kiwi Farms can't really do anything about that. Very tragic, but still, I guess that's just what they are. Somebody says, you spoke about your great relationship with Indiegogo before. Have you tried to contact them directly to ask for an explanation as to why various Comicsgate projects are getting shadow banned? That's a whole other topic, too. If you guys knew the exact reason, it could help with prevention. And if you have contacted them, but they won't say, what do you think? They're silent. And he says, Ethan replies saying, the contacts I've had have been shuffled aside, and they all told me to speak to the new comics division, which doesn't answer my multiple messages. It's probably exactly what it looks like, which means Ethan here is admitting that to the backroom agreement he had with Indiegogo, where they would turn a blind eye to stuff like attacking other creators, the Dirtworm Doug stuff, which is against Indiegogo TOS. The stuff like using the funding to false flag other creators, which Ethan Van Sciver has done. All that kind of stuff. That backroom agreement he had is now over because they've had a change in management, and most likely, on top of that, they're just tired of having to put up with him. Here's something else that just fucking real quick. Something from March of 2021. Hello, my awesome backers. Which, again, if they're really that awesome, why didn't you get the book done in 2021? This is basically when the comic was already late. But Ethan saying, we're bringing an end to the funding period for Cyberfrog 2. On April 1st, the campaign will close. You'll no longer be able to pre-order from it, which wasn't true either. Because, of course, he would just run other campaigns, last chance and then extra last chance. As people speculate, it's because he has blown all the money and had no money for printing or shipping. So he needed to run another campaign to get the money to print and ship the extra copies. And, of course, he knows he can just not send everyone all of the copies. He doesn't have to fulfill completely. He just has to fulfill to the other YouTubers who will do videos about it.
They'll fucking basically run interference for him.
Yeah, like Nerdrotic will receive his copy and say, Ethan Van Sciver has fulfilled his comic. Whereas a bunch of actual customers who don't have big YouTube channels will not get their copy. And Nerdrotic will say nothing about that. The Quartering will say nothing about that. In fact, they'll have Ethan on to talk about Ethan's great success. and intentionally ignore the customers not getting their things. But also, if he were to address it, it would be to just claim that it's a lie, to say that Ethan's own customers are liars when they say that they don't get their books. And again, is that the respecting the customers that Comicsgate was always about? I say, fuck respecting the customers. Just give them a book. You don't have to respect anything. Just here's the book. If they don't want it, don't buy it. If you don't like Marvel and DC, don't buy it. We've said that since before Comicsgate has ever existed. So if you're part of Comicsgate or whatever on YouTube and you've said to just not buy Marvel or DC, you're just parroting us. And you always have been. And that's not my opinion. That's objectively provable. But yeah, I thought it was funny. He says, oh no, what's that? Wait, this is worth keeping though. Classic fucking picture. Anyways, now Cummings talks to me on fucking DMs and shit. It's like, okay, thank you. I don't hate him, but it's funny how many people from back then now DM me and are like, yeah, this whole thing is fucking. Cummings was actually kind of early to bash Ethan and stuff. Basically talking about how Ethan was gatekeeping like real creators, and it was mainly about the Nurkish stuff. And he was completely right about that, at least. Nurkish did still make fun. That's why I have that picture, that wonderful picture of Captain Cummings, because that's from one of the Nurkish videos making fun. Nurkish was just pointing to that and going, "Don't do this." It just scrolling through. I wonder what other stuff is in my folder. This one's good. Box. Wow. $200 box. And again, yeah, that's the thing, is that people have been performatively showing the Cyber Frog box, which doesn't look like this either. But
it's not shaped like that.
Yeah, the $200 box.
That's not the design either.
Yeah, that people are like, oh, check out the fucking box. It's so awesome. And it's like, really, where's the comic? Flip through it. Is it done? Nope. They never do that. Anyway, so yeah, this part that I'd searched up though, Ethan saying, I'm about 2/3 of the way through Wrecked Planet and working hard to complete it. This was in March 30th, 2021. Nothing in 2022. Now, there's always excuses, of course, like, well, he went to work to make it even longer. Why? Why are you fucking making it longer? Did you muck up something? Did you fuck it up? You're gonna fuck it up. Anyways, yeah, it's just funny. Again, 2021, 2/3 of the way through. No, he wasn't. That is in the business what we call a fucking lie.
I mean, just on top of all that shit too, it's just like, it's going to be great. The longer it takes to come out, the better it will be.
That was something that it's kind of funny. A former fan of ours, Raging Golden Eagle, who was a fan of our Dumbler blog, and submitted posts to us and that kind of shit, and left comments on our posts back in the day. The artist for his comic has been having embarrassing crying baby bitch meltdowns on the comment sections of our videos, because we pointed out that his comic was in support of false flagging and that kind of stuff. Added to which, that's not my opinion. I don't think that. One of his own friends came out and said, yes, Raging Golden Eagle supported me false flagging the shitty webcomics channel. And again, fucking, why don't people talk about that? Why doesn't Nerdrotic or the Quartering admit to that, which has evidence about it? Because they're owned by corporations. They actually have a narrative, and it is a false narrative, a hoax, where they're really just telling you what you want to hear to get your money. It's all for the dopamine hits. But people are realizing that. And again, that's what I wanted to wrap up. But before then, 2019, here's just a post from Cyberfrog Blood Honey. We're almost done. March 7, 2019. The comic still didn't come out for the entire rest of the year. So whenever Ethan's saying that something's almost done, or when it's at the printers, but other bizarre lies, like he says here, Ethan said 2019, March 7, the final product will be 88 pages instead of 48 pages. I said, no, it's just 17 pages on Killstream. And to this day, just last week, one of Ethan's simps was so traumatized by me saying that years ago. It's been like 4 years, and they're still remember. That's living
because it's so true. It's so effective.
Because it wasn't 88 pages. And he says it would be 88 instead of 44 pages. It wasn't even 48 pages. An extra room will be devoted to remastering and represented classic Cyberfrog material. That's what he did, was he padded 20 pages of the first book. Like, he padded it from 40 pages to 60 with 20 pages of just old concept art he had laying around. That's how lazy can you get? And again, the whole Chromium thing, that was a disaster, and it's a disaster now because the Chromium cover he put in the new book, it won't close, all that fucking shit. It's just one fuck up after another. And again, for what? A shiny cover for a comic. Is that really all you care about?
Yeah, again, a gimmick.
Shiny cover?
These people don't actually want comics.
Yeah. Let's see. But here is some stuff on Post. Now, I can't vouch for the stuff on Powast, but share audio now. But okay. I looked at my own stream. Yeah, here's the Powast stuff, which we did a video about Powast is there's some goofy stuff, but I won't get into that right now. I will zoom this in so it's a little easier to read there. That looks good. But here is, I saw a thread. I don't even remember why, but I saw it from, I followed somebody on shitposter.club, which is actually the Fediverse node or instance or whatever the fuck it's called that I do read. Shitposter.club, wonderful. Movie nights every Sunday at 7:30 EST. We saw Wild Wild West and Song of the South for the first movie night of Black History Month. Don't make it such a mystery. Let's learn about Black history. But yeah, so Shitposter Club. I had a Powast. Okay, I'm going to pronounce it Powast forever. I don't care. But I had their account with them first. That was my first Fediverse thing. But I could see that things were going wrong. A lot of things were going wrong. And we did a video about that on the Subscribe Star, going into more detail about the sort of psychological, psychic, subconscious zeitgeist that we have always been tuned into, of course, that basically gives away that Powast is not long for this world. Now, that doesn't mean that it will be gone this year even, but it will eventually implode for reasons that we go into and prove in the other video. Anyways, but I saw this. And there's still good fucking posts and people talking about shit. So quote, tweet, if you will. Somebody saying, why the fuck did I get recommended this? Why the fuck did I get told these were right-wingers? One of them is a Jew. One of them is a furry, Lamau. And it's...
and that's not the end of it either. Also, he's had others like that who are also not real right-wingers.
Yeah, a lot of tons of them. They've platformed a lot of them. They've platformed one of the guys who posted a hoax about us, a Literature Devil, who posted a fake story about us, doxing, or I think it was the fake death threats that that Umbrella guy made against himself, and he tried to blame us for these fake death threats that he fabricated, and immediately tons of people in Comicsgate ran with it with no evidence. They, in fact, avoided the evidence, even though the evidence was all public. They avoided it entirely. The Mahler and the EFAP guys had Literature Devil on after Literature Devil had made a video posting, furthering and platforming the hoax, and after, out of embarrassment, was forced to delete the video. And I still have the URL for the video that Literature Devil did. But they have other people on just like that who post, the other and everyone is starting to realize it. That's why I wanted to go over this just real quick. This is just a little example of everyone in the fucking world realizing that this whole thing is just AstroTurf faked. Like this guy says, why the fuck did I get told these were right wingers? And it's EFAP on Waller's channel reacting to The Last of Us episode 4. Please,
which is another big problem. That
they're probably praising the fucking TV show or something too. I don't care though. I don't care if they are or they aren't, or if they're trashing it, or if they're calling it woke garbage. Oh no, they called it woke garbage. They're in real trouble now. The show's certainly over. That's a whole other topic too, still. But somebody quote tweeting that saying, the other day I was thinking about how miserable these faggots will be if they aren't already. One of these videos was showing up again. For a moment, I was considering being the guy with a family who burned his career and had been effectively unemployed since 2013, scraping by on YouTube, ad rev, and shitty super chats, forced to drink the Disney and Marvel filth by the gallon just to keep his kids fed. This is a great sum up of the whole nerd culture revolt, Star Wars, YouTube, Comicsgate, all of that shit. In fact, Comicsgate gets brought up in at some point, but this guy, Springtime for Xeon, says, I'll give credit also to Mr. Quacker's Big Duck on Poast. I would still recommend Poast because just don't expect it to be around forever. But yeah, I would have some other Fediverse. I would not recommend Chud Butts either, though, because I think they're going to have the same problems. When you're defedding other instances or other fucking individuals from other instances, it's like it's always the ultimate red flag that the place will eventually implode. But again, whole other topic. Check our subscribe. Donate to us on Subscribestar. Anyways. But Springtime for Xeon says, imagine that, no escape, no way out. You're all in on Marvel. You have to make breathless videos about movie set gossip and track embarrassing low-quality Kickstarter projects of your friends. Again, this guy he's not following the whole thing, but he's getting a vague sense of all the stuff going on because it's not Kickstarter. Some of them are on Kickstarter, but Indiegogo is the one that you have to be on, or else Ethan says he will not promote your campaigns. Very famously or infamously, Ethan said he will not promote your campaigns if you even make a Kickstarter, which again backfired on him, blew up in his face. It's one of the reasons why he kicked Richard C. Meyer, your boy Zach, out of Comicsgate publicly. He said that. That video clip we did about that has a ton of people from, two people from Comicsgate desperately coping about how it can't be true when
if two of them are even compelled to say anything, you know that there's a whole bunch more.
Yeah, the cockroaches under the floorboards are fucking really scrambling at that point. But they're replying to a preview clip being like, this doesn't have the thing. And it's like, yeah, it's a preview clip. It says it's a preview clip. How low IQ can you get? But again, r/piss. It's the r/piss syndrome all over again. Am I really going to argue with the guy who is just chugging his own piss proudly in public? I don't think so.
I don't want to hear anything from them.
It's better to just goad them or make fun of them because, again, then they put the truth in their blind spot. Just as we were saying again with the guy with the actual piss bottle that he spilled. He put the truth in his blind spot about fucking Dumbathoticus, that horse-faced bitch who does Wart the Wizard. How she thoughted it up, slutted it up with fucking sending nudes to other people in Comicsgate, and how he was in complete denial about it, even though it had been proven true and publicly known. He chose instead to take the truth and place it willingly into his own blind spot. Why do that? I would say you should do the opposite, but Comicsgate apparently doesn't know how. Very sad, very paused. But anyways, so this guy says, though, a low-quality Kickstarter project of your friends, equally cynical competitors, but you have to reciprocate surface-level support to share viewership and not get kicked from the supportive network, while your IRL people keep moving out onwards and upwards in life. There's no up as a YouTuber. It's all decline. You'll peak, hit max audience in a couple years, and slowly ride out a permanent waning core of diehard supporters. He's basically described Ethan Van Sciver's YouTube.
I mean, that's also the thing is we could have done this ourselves. If I had no self-respect, I absolutely could have been one of these fucking sycophants or shills.
Yeah, we had a choice.
I just couldn't bring myself down to that level.
We had an opportunity to fucking be full shills for Comicsgate and go in being like, we're pro Comicsgate, we're creators too.
Yeah, we'll do anything you say.
But I knew it was, I could see the dishonesty and these stupid tactics. Like, as we were proven right about, Richard being like, oh, respecting the customers. And it's like, you're not going to hold to this. And sure enough, he didn't. He himself admits he does videos where he trashes his own customers. Because like, just because you bought a book from me doesn't mean you're my friend now. It's like, you're the one who wanted fucking positive customer interaction. You made hashtags and slogans and catchphrases, and you pushed them in every single video you did. I watched all of them. I remember. I apparently remember this better than Richard's own fans now do, because they have memory hold that. They blocked it out of their memory like a childhood rape, which I guess they should. And maybe some of them have actually, and maybe they deserved it for being comic book nerds. But continuing though, someone says the TRS curse, which I think is the right stuff, which I never really watched that stuff myself. I didn't keep up with that, but whatever. I think the one I think of as the perfect case study is the guy who did the biggest problem with that one bald. Oh, he's talking about Dick Masterson. He's going to trash Dick, but yeah, I'm just reading what this guy is saying. That dude had it absolutely perfect for like 3 years straight, 25K a month rolling in, plenty of fodder to laugh at. And then it was too much trouble to put on a show once a week on a Sunday afternoon. Is that the problem with Dick? I know a lot of other people have a lot of problems with Dick, which I understand.
Is it Dick or Maddox?
Dick. Well, there was Maddox too. Maddox had it fucking easy. Maybe he's talking about Maddox, but he's saying the guy who did the biggest problem with that bald guy. The bald guy was Maddox.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
I mean, fucking, you could say Dick is going bald or something, but he just has a tiny face. I understand why people don't like Dick. I don't have too much of a problem with him, but I'm not going to be like, oh, if you have a problem with Dick Masterson, fuck you, fucking, if you don't smoke Tarletons, fuck you. But still, I just want to keep to the topic also. He says, last I looked, it dropped to 18K, which is still quite stellar, but still, the way they managed to neuter creators today, they let you get a burst of viewership audience, then they cast you out. And if you aren't growing as a streamer, you're dying. The winning move is to save the absurd early life windfall and use it to become professional without any debt in some normal field. Let's see, there were some other things I wanted to look. The threading for these is a little tricky because it just shows every post in a thread, and sometimes it's a Fediverse thing, whereas
actually the thing is like people will hide the links to it, and it's like, oh, I don't have an account, but let me go check this out. Every single time I would click on one of the links, it would go right to it would stay there for like 5 seconds, and then go to the first post.
Yeah, and it's like, where's the one I linked to? Where is that? I don't even know. I don't remember. So yeah, I couldn't even link to the stuff I wanted to also look at because it just wouldn't help. But there's replies to replies to replies. This one's funny. I'm hoping none of these are porn, but from what I remember, they aren't. There's ants. He's throwing one. Oh no, she's barfing. Where was the one? If I look, if I search, there's a lot of damn bitch you live like this, which is these are just funny. They're delightful. They're funny. They're charming. They're happy.
Well, it's always a good message too, which is shaming women.
Oh, here's another. Again, springtime for Xeon, saying, replying to himself, adding, saying, also compare the quality here for all their vaunted, we just want good media talk. They don't really police their own and maintain any semblance of quality.
They never did either.
Yeah, no, they never ever did. That's the thing. That's all they need to sell is say we're for good quality, and people go, I like good quality.
I like good comics. I want good comics.
I like it's idiocracy all over. I like money, and that's it. That's fucking any moron shows up saying I am for good comic, and people will go, I'm for good comic too, and then just immediately throw all their disposable income at somebody who is thin-skinned, very publicly an SJW. Calling them a closet SJW does a disservice to how publicly they act like the woke mob, the SJW, whatever you're gonna call. I don't give a shit. They are what they are. I can't actually say the words that I want to call them. I can't lay out a big string of racial slurs on this stream as much as I would like to. Which is another hilarious thing. I could go find the screen cap with that, but it was maybe I should too. Is one of the guys like that umbrella guy who's like the shitty webcomics Thomas Roy Loop. Their streams are just endless strings of N bombs, and it's like I wish I could do that. Believe me, that would be fun.
I wish I was that basted with red pills,
red sauce pills. Yeah, it would be fun. I wouldn't even do it that much, but I don't even know what they're like. Are you trying to convince people to dislike us though? Because who's going to dislike? Like you're using the exact same argument, and this was in 2018, 2019 when Tug and Ricada fucking also did that, where they're like, he's using racial slurs. And the streams is like, where? Which ones? Can you please clip them and show them to me so I can send them to other people for us to laugh about or something? Please, anything. But of course, Tug has me blocked. Ricada wishes he could have me blocked. The thing is, I don't care about him that much. I don't tweet at him. I could tweet at him until he blocks me. I could ban bait easily. Which is what a lot of these people do too, when they're like, oh, I can get banned, so I can go fucking telling everyone, oh, I got censored, everybody. They banned me. Donate to my fucking thing. I could do that too, but it's like fucking I don't care that much.
No, I have better things. I really do have better things to do with my time.
Yeah, the only time I care or talk about it is when we're streaming. It's the only time I ever talk about it. All I did all day yesterday was fucking play some goofy ass shit on my shitty Vive Cosmos, the worst VR rig, but I'm still having fun. I installed that Metal Gear Solid 1 mod that lets you be in Metal Gear Solid 1 Shadow Moses in VR. It's a mod for Boneworks, and it was really cool. Even though the NPCs weren't working, they weren't spawning like they're supposed to. It was really fun and cool. And I recorded an hour of me just goofing and fiddling around with that. And that will make a background. That will be a background video for one of our Subscribe Star videos. So again, if you want to see fun video game footage while we're talking at the same time about the truth that even Kiwi Farms is afraid to touch, you really should be subscribed to our Subscribe Star. You should just donate money to us for rewarding the truth being told. That's really what you should be doing. But also, you get all these great, wonderful videos. I wish I could post them. I legitimately wish I could post them all in public. And I've been starting to clip them for like shilling purposes to be like, here's a clip from one of our Subscribe Star videos. But anyways, yeah, this guy though, getting back to his Powast tweet thing, saying, yeah, they don't police their own and maintain any semblance of quality, for all their vaunted, we just want good media. They want good comic, that kind of thing. At the very least, they should be telling each other what meets minimum spec to save face as a group. One problem with that, there is no standard for quality in American comics. The shittiest comics in America. I still remember when Richard, ya boy Zach, people in Comicsgate, whatever, were saying that Tom King's Mr. Miracle Man or whatever the fuck was the next Watchmen. This was like 2018. And I read it.
Was clear it was not the next Watchmen.
No, it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. It was fucking pretty generic. There was a weird kind of mood and a sense of mood to it, but there's not really any story. As I think it was Dragon who did that comic making fun of it. where it's just the 9-panel grid, just like Watchmen, just like the Mr. Miracle Man, whatever the fuck it's called, Miracle Man, I think. Who cares? Hey, who fucking cares? But he did that 9-panel grid where at the beginning it's Mr. Miracle Man being like, "Oh, I'm a depressed piece of shit," and then just the rest of the panels are him standing there until the last one where he says, "I'm still a depressed piece of shit." Classic. I could probably find that, but again, there's so many things to show that I don't like compiling. That's a lot of work. I had all this shit in front of me today. That's the only reason why we're doing this stream, is because we can knock out all of this shit that's been happening over the past couple of months all at once.
And this is a kind of a conglomeration stream. It also takes less work to have to edit it or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't have to do any editing, as opposed to our Subscribe Star videos where I do the work, where I put in the gameplay footage over top of us talking, but I drop out the gameplay footage if I'm going to show a screen cap of like a tweet or an Indiegogo comment or something.
Yeah, adding some more context.
Thanks again. Huge thanks to Arxelay for getting me that copy of Vegas. I guess it's not called Sony Vegas. It's called Magic's Vegas now. But that's made it incredibly easy because it just has the timelines like Final Cut or whatever.
That's the thing, is I downloaded some free fucking video editing software, and it's clear that the programs I downloaded for free are not nearly as effective.
Yeah, Tempgenic, for example, is I like.
They're easier to figure out on their own, but they don't do nearly as much shit.
Yeah, they're very simple. It's like Windows Movie Maker, basically. It's extremely simple,
which apparently doesn't even work anymore.
Windows Vegas is really easy. Well, they hid it. I don't know why they hid Windows Movie Maker. It's still there, but yeah, I don't know. But Vegas though is still really good. It's robust, but it's also very simple to use. So huge thanks to Arxelay for getting me that, because it's made our videos better, our Subscribe Star videos, where we can have this gameplay footage very easily and us talking along with it. And I can, mute the video game footage and fucking, just throw the two videos one over the other, and then like sort of make little cuts to drop to the original recording, the video of us talking that shows the screen cap of things. It's wonderful. And again, our Subscribe Star is full of tons of videos of deep dives, deep lore, comics reviews, and general discussions and things.
One of the other things
basically it's stuff like this.
I've been doing some writing
1,000 times more.
I want to actually write comics. I've been doing some writing. I'm also writing a book. So I don't know if I should even mention.
Well, you're working on that. Yeah, that's still in the beginning of the works, but that's, I don't know. But you're not just writing comics, but one of them's almost done, I think, or it's at least close to.
Yeah, in fact, I moved on to starting a finished version of the next issue.
Yeah, you were working on the next issue of that comic, but also there's another story, a different comic story.
I want to make sure I do that. But the thing is, I've also been putting that off for like the last week or two, because I'm sorting through like a giant folder of unsorted fucking images.
You were drinking a lot a few years ago. Well, not a few. It was like 5 or 6.
Basically, it was 2016 to 2018. Apparently, something really entertaining.
You weren't drinking every. Well, yeah. There was some fun things to celebrate constantly, but you weren't drinking every single day for an entire year. But it was like every other day sometimes.
It was every other day for up to an entire month at a time.
Yeah, sometimes it was every day. And it was like, you're doing a lot.
I'm unemployed. I am unemployable. But the point is that I saved a metric fuckload of
what's called an employment risk. No, we're fucking that's not actually. That's the thing, is that we've been feeding people a lot of fake information. Like we were telling people that we live in our mom's basement and shit, because again, we want people to be fed misinformation so that they are clueless about what's actually going on. And I know people will be like, "Oh, that's going to
guess wrong too,"
but it's objectively true anyway.
They keep guessing and they keep being wrong.
Yeah, and the thing is that feeds us, that services us. in ways that they don't really know or understand. And
by the way,
we're
I'm fucking
completely in favor
sorting
of that.
through the fucking image folder. I sorted through a bunch of the fucking main like primary downloads folder. Just a ton of bullshit.
You were talking about that because you had like 10,000 pictures because you would save everything, every single image from Paul or fucking whatever the fuck.
It was anything that made me even remotely grin would fucking get saved. And I'm going through it, and it's like a lot of these are just kind of fucking garbage. I was clearly really drunk. That's one of the things I would actually do.
You drank a lot.
I'll get really drank, and I would just sit around and I would fucking read Paul or fucking.
I mean, sometimes
anyone talking about the Trump train, and I would save a ton of that shit.
Yeah, you've been
laughing, just really laughing it up.
But yeah, I've noticed you've been, first of all, you don't drink you haven't been drinking like that for years and years.
No,
so
unfortunately, I cut myself off.
Unfortunately, the party has ended, but that was before Biden was elected too, so that's not actually related.
It's been a few years now.
There's a lot of really deep lore about our lives that's like we used to fascinate people about the stories of what the shit that we've done in our lives previously. They're like, what the fuck? That's fucking crazy. And all of it was completely true. But the thing is, these days it's a different era where you can't really talk about anything without it used to be like 10 years ago on the internet, if one person became obsessed with every single detail of your life, they were seen by everyone as a loser. Now everyone fucking becomes obsessed with every detail of your life, no matter what it is. If they want you to be wrong, but you're right, if it's a matter of them hug boxing. The hug boxes have only gotten stronger in the past 10 years, where people enforce them easier, and they will push lies and back them up. Again, that's why I brought up like Literature Devil and Tug and all that stuff, is that they got caught lying, and instead of being forced to admit it or anything like that, they would just triple down and on until it would explode in their faces, and they would be at some risk of just being fucked up in some other way, and people would start laughing at them, and they would immediately drop it and move on. But then every once in a while, try to push it, like try to test their new audience with the hoaxes that they had made up. And that used to not fly on the internet like 10, 15, 20 years ago. You used to become the biggest laughing stock. Now you get money.
They get fucking dragged to pieces if that was.
It's the only way to make money, in fact. The only way to become famous and popular on YouTube pretty much is to become a person who is completely obsessed with celebrity drama and bullshit, and you pander to all the wine moms and people with no lives and the real unemployable people. You did actually have a job a few years ago after you quit the booze, and you did work at a job for a while and stuff. But the thing is that we have a different situation. It's very complicated. And again, getting into it is like, well, I don't want to dox myself either, because there are people who unironically want to kill us, who want to fucking have us swatted. Tug would have us swatted. He's been trying to false flag us. Ethan Van Sciver's been trying to get our docs and our names and addresses for years. We've posted the evidence. That's in public on our channel. So all that information is completely public and known. And that's why we don't talk about the actual real life. We give people the fake details of our lives and shit. We've told people some of the true detail. Like, we are poor. We're fucking poor. But of course you're going to be poor when you tell. There's no money in telling the truth. There's only money in lying to people who want to be lied to.
I absolutely could have fucking jumped on board the fucking Comicsgate fucking scam wagon.
Yeah. We could have become simps and fucking damage. We could have run damage control from them, and we could have joined in on the pandering and that kind of shit. But we can't. We have a decades-long history of intentionally ruining that for fun by telling the truth to people who don't want. Like, we have made friends angry intentionally just to laugh about it. Rest in peace, Kay, who fucking got run off our Discord multiple times from one of our oldest friends, just trolling and being a real asshole. He was being a real jerk. I don't approve of that. But I'd still kind of think it was funny just the way he was just being he was being like an old like 4chan 2006 era. That's how old we are. We're able to remember back when the first year of 4chan, before summer fags was even a concept. So yeah, again, there's a lot of old shit that we did back in the day that we're used to, and the internet isn't like that anymore. The internet is now about being like, oh, you said that. Like if 4chan had longer archives and non-anonymous stuff, people would be like, you said this on 4chan in 2006 about how fucking you wanted to rape all the cast of Lucky Star. You're a fucking rapist. You just admitted. That's what fucking all of these nerd culture YouTubers are. They obsess about that shit, and then they would get 20 other YouTubers with like 100,000. They would all have silver play buttons, and all of them would push the same hoax with no evidence and without ever acknowledging any of the evidence, and in fact covering up and running misdirection for the truth every single time. And in fact, we've been the proof that they do that. So if you want proof that they do that, you needed to be following us for the past several years, because that's where all of the evidence
I mean, even then,
but that's why I'm reading this right now. That's why I'm looking at
just entertaining in general.
That's why I'm screen sharing this. Yeah, that true is that for fucking it's part of the old classic. We were trolls back when it meant something. Now nobody knows, nobody understands what trolling is anymore. Nobody really truly uniquely like what is called shit posting these days is like a 10% fucking, it's 10% watered down of what trolling really was, where you'd really get into somebody's head and drive them insane, which is something that we still know how to do. Nobody else understands. No one on Kiwi Farms even understands the concept of that anymore. And we've done that constantly over and over again. Like that guy who is Ethan Van Sciver to this day is still angry that I said, you're going to the gas chamber, Ethan. That one guy, one of Ethan's simps is still angry that after 4 years, I said, haha, your comic is still only 17 pages long. He was so fucking furious about that. To this, last week, he's still pissed off. He's like, I forgot I even said that. You still remember it? That traumatized you that bad. That's the level of trolling we're on that other people just can't match. This is not ego or vanity. I'm not bragging. It's objectively quantified. It's been measured with like beakers and fucking Bunsen burners and that kind of science. It's just science. Don't you trust the science? Trust the science plan. 2 weeks, you will see the science plan. But this guy though, this is why I'm reading this, is because everyone else is starting to realize the what we've been saying about how all these silver play button YouTubers are pathological liars, mentally ill, obsessed with lying, obsessed with celebrity drama and fucking false narratives and pushing hoaxes and using their audiences and using their friends' audiences the way Nick Rekieta has, we've proven. He uses his friends' audience, and Ethan would also do this, using all their audiences and their combined audiences. Now, what this guy has been saying, you can't even criticize the other people in the community because you need their audience to support you, which even some of the people who replied to this guy later, we'll get into that in a few minutes. They're like, oh, yeah, well, at least there's Ethan. And then they get mugged by reality pretty brutally for fucking fun. I'm waiting to get to that. That's good shit. But I'm showing this because this shows everyone else is starting to realize it, that the whole thing is fake. He posts a picture of Yellow Flash. Yellow Flash's awful gay art. His gay profile picture that makes him look autistic and with brain damage, which he most likely actually does have real life brain damage. But anyways, yeah. So this going back finally to Springtime for Xeon, saying at the very least they should be telling each other what meets minimum spec to save face as a group. As we've said, fucking comic books don't have any minimum spec. They have no quality standard. This guy says, I know that doesn't matter. I'm being too literal. It all comes down to teams anyway. but can you identify which one of these is made by a fat American or a gangly flip from a second world country? I don't know anything about them, actually, just guessing body types. Well, definitely right. Guy on the left hasn't suffered like the guy on the right has. And yeah, here's fucking this. And then this other one is this person I just started following on Twitter. They do a lot of good anime art, but it's also like just politically antagonizing in funny ways, where it's like they've done. I think one of the shitball memes of a pit bull with like blood on its mouth, where with a scared Anya from Spy X Family. I think there's the artist who did that. Somebody replies to this saying, though, we want better goy slop. And it's one thing to complain about it, but when you see the quality of their own stuff, it rings hollow. Guys, we need to make our own parallel systems. Cool, excellent. Yeah, Marvel and DC and such. They don't deserve your money. You should make your own. Sweet. All right. Check out my kick-ass comic on Kickstarter, only $40. Yeah, man, you're not learning the right lessons from the Japs. Literally 80% of the doujin shit turned out on the weekends over there absolutely trounces your stuff. This looks like a middle schooler's art portfolio. And he includes a Yellow Flash tweet saying, sick of woke anime and manga, plenty to honor. Again, Yellow Flash is parroting us. He's just copying off of what we'd said years ago. So Yellow Flash is, even at his best, he's just a derivative of what we had already said years before he started pretending to be us. That's what he's doing. He's pretending to be us. But he's saying anime and manga have plenty to offer. He's clearly not really a fan of anime or manga either. Want to read comics still? Support Comicsgate creators. Again, he's supporting Comicsgate, which are SJWs. There's no way around it. If you are supporting the woke mob, if you're,
I mean, there's more indies out there besides Comicsgate anyway.
Yeah. Common America is a perfect example. It's one of the great comics, one of the greatest indie comics. That's a real comic to support if you want good stuff. But Comicsgate is publicly against them and has worked to slander them. Hashtag fuck iconic comics. Ethan was behind that. And Ethan was also John Delarose, directly involved in pushing and coercing Comic Hut to claim that he was being coerced. Basically, coercion to claim he was being coerced. And Comic Hut started pushing this false narrative that people at Iconic wanted to attack and slander Comicsgate, which was not only not true, but his only evidence of that was showing subject lines of him emailing Doug Ernst. And that's it. It was just a complete dud. It went nowhere. Even the people who were like, "Oh man, it's fucked up," they dropped it, and they're like, "I don't really care." Even the Comicsgate supporters who were desperate to simp for Ethan were like, yeah, Ethan's own fans were like, if you're going to make me choose between your comic Cyberfrog and Common America, I'm going to go with Common America. So Ethan wanted his fans to be forced into an ultimatum, but he didn't want that they would fucking choose Common America over him, which is the only choice. His comic is still late, even as he's sending it. He's saying that he's sending it to people. We just showed that screenshot. Didn't we show the screenshot of the guy being like, you only sent like 200 fucking things? Did we show that? Did you see me post that in the stream?
Fucking, I wasn't looking.
I haven't been. I legitimately have not been looking at the chat for like the past hour now, but hour and a half maybe. But did I show the screen cap of Ethan admitting it was I think it's on the desktop or something, but Ethan was full on admitting that he only printed a few copies. Does anyone remember that from the stream? I already forgot because I just had a big string. I showed all of them and then they're fucking and then I closed them. So I don't remember if I showed that screen cap of Ethan admitting that he only printed like 200 or 300 copies. I don't know if I opened that. But, I can get to that after. The POAS stuff is good. Just remind me to do that before the end of the stream. But Yeah, so Yellow Flash pretending to be us, parroting us, trying to imitate us, but being.
But he knows that we're right. A lot of these people, they follow us semi-religiously, and they know that we actually, unlike them,
admit it, of course,
we actually know what we're talking about.
Yeah, secretly. They don't want to admit it, but Ethan Van Sciver's personal, private, real-life friends have accidentally let slip that, yes, Ethan watches all of our videos, that he makes references in private to them about our videos. And that was very odd and suspicious. And again, it was something that nobody else it really admits to or talks about. But we showed the clips. We posted the receipts, the proof, the evidence, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Yellow Flash pretending to be us here, so being like, "You want to read comics? Yeah, the woke, my sick of woke. Like video games, look for great indie comics. Titled director, just fucking stupid." But somebody replies to that saying Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog appears to be high quality, but he's a professional. And the guy replies saying, I'm not well versed in this, so I'm sure there are good ones, but this guy shows up in the thumbnails a lot, and I'm always baffled. He's referring to Yellow Flash, though. How Yellow Flash is controlled opposition. The algorithm is pushing him because the woke mob, the people at YouTube, want you distracted. They want you following people like Yellow Flash so that you're not focusing on the real stuff. They want you distracted by the controlled opposite. They want you corralled in. They want the
distraction up. He's also, he's an easy target to demolish.
In.
Anyone can demolish him with no effort.
Yeah, he's lost the argument multiple times to the point where he's like started moping and almost crying on stream about how we had won and had been proven right. That fucking Yellow Flash's depressed video where he's like, these guys are winning. I don't understand what's all the infighting. And it's like, yeah, we said that was going to happen. You proved us right. Comicsgate proved us right. War Campaign proved us right. And this was like 2019. Even Doug TenNapel was laughing and mocking Yellow Flash for that because we were correct and Yellow Flash was, as usual, wrong and clueless about what's really going on. Yellow Flash is just downstream from everything we say. He gets our cast-offs. And but the thing is that YouTube promotes him because YouTube understands that they want to corral the gullible people into not seeing what's important, into not doing anything worthwhile that will have any effect. Comicsgate will have no effect. The other stuff, they know it behind the scenes is AstroTurf. It's fake.
Well, I mean, also, that's the thing is his entire life is playing the algorithm. He doesn't exist for any other reason.
Yeah, and as this guy is pointing out, that it's, it's your whole life is just super chats and working for YouTube monetization, which YouTube gets that money too. So you're working to make YouTube money instead of intentionally not monetizing your channel, refusing super chats, not taking money from YouTube's system and saying, here's my system, go here instead. They don't want that. Yellow Flash wants to work for YouTube because YouTube wants him to work for them and make them money. And he's fully willing to work for that and do that, to accept that. He will accept those terms of being a controlled opposition shill. And it's not just him, of course. It's thousands of other YouTubers, all the silver play button YouTubers in nerd culture and all that shit. They're part of it. They get money and they give money back to the YouTube system, the woke mob. Like if Disney and YouTube disappeared tomorrow, these people would commit suicide. They would be completely out of a job. Nerdrotic would not have anything to do or say or talk about anymore. Everyone knows this. His fans know this, except for the mentally ill fans who are reality averse, if you will, reality averse. But anyways, this guy says, this guy shows up in the thumbnails a lot. I'm always baffled how nobody takes him aside and tells him to do better if he's representing the cause. I compare him to Pochi because, as far as I know, she's a streamer and now full-time creator doing her own thing. She made the adorable Dagashi Dojin, where they're newlyweds, and that's some of the best-looking art I can think of, an enjoyable comic read. Even the Chinese garbage tier passion projects put these YouTubers to shame, and they're reusing assets and filtering photo garbage. And it's baffling to me how the American creators put out such garbage. They never take a critical eye to their own work. He's referring directly to Ethan Van Sciver without knowing it necessarily. He's referring specifically to Yellow Flash, but he's referring globally to all of them, all of Comicsgate. Somebody else says, I used to be subscribed to Yellow Flash and Quartering and Clownfish TV and Comics Matter, which is ya boy Zach, to keep tabs on normies, but I got so fed up with them. Fucking Comics Matter, ya boy Zach, released a comic with a shaved side of the head sheepoon to prove that it's not about race. It's about the story and character, and it probably went over like a wet fart. Yes, it did. That was the Pandemic comic, which was a complete dud. Even his fans were talking about how shitty it was. Dan Fan, I remember, reviewed it, and she was like, she was trying to be very positive about it, but clearly she had nothing actually positive to say about it, and went into that there was just no plot. The plot was a complete blank page. It was just a series of empty visuals with no meaning to them.
It's literally what it's one of the reasons why I really do just hate him. He took what should have been...
Gradually, we began to hate them.
Gradually, I began to hate Comicsgate. But he took what was probably the most underhand, softball, slow pitch fucking concept.
Yeah, just easy layup.
You could fucking do, because this is like just a few months after all of this started to really kick off.
Yeah, and again, it's like you can make a comic about anything. You're indie. Now you can do anything. The fucking chains are off. And he's like, I'll make a comic about the pandemic. Oh, okay. What are you going to say about it? A girl runs across a bridge. That's it.
That was it. The simple fact is he has nothing to say. He has no ideas.
Yeah. And that's not our opinion either, by the way. Other comic creators who have made comics with things to say have pointed out objectively how none of Richard's comics have anything to say about anything. There are no themes. There are no character arcs. There's not even a story arc.
Even then, but still, you can forgive that because it's a goof one-off idea. But he has nothing to say about it. He has no jokes.
Not even on accident.
No ideas whatsoever. He has no way to fucking look on the story and put in his own spin on it.
He's just an empty shell.
Any of this. All it required was a little bit of thought and a 20-page comic. He could not even do that. And the comic was late, too, by the way. That's another very important element.
And
the
some
comic
of the other comics
was already finished.
Yeah, a bunch of the comics were fucking late. Yeah, there was the Expendables one.
6 months after people stopped talking about
that one was really baffling to his own fans, where it's like he was saying that the comic was done, and then months and months were passing. It's like, you said the comic is done. Where is it? And he's like, oh, I'm just scared to really pull the trigger on it. It's like, you've already released comics before. What the fuck's wrong with you?
The money. The money is in your hands.
Yes.
Where's the comic?
They're paying you for your shit storytelling. Just don't act like you can do better. We all know you. Your fans don't want better. They know you can't do better.
Audience will basically do whatever the fuck you tell them to.
Literal
all you have to do is deliver the bullshit comic. And he couldn't even do that.
When we call people cucks, it's because other men have actually fucked their wife. Like fucking, I mean, Richard is a cuck. There was the porn movie that leaked. That fucking people on this, even some of these simps on Kiwi farms were trying to be like, well, maybe it's not him. And then Ethan came out and said, oh, I guess the porn movie of him finally leaked. Yeah, that's him. But the thing is, Ethan did that because Ethan doesn't like Richard anymore and hasn't for a long time.
Even if he doesn't like him, it's like, well, you're supposed to be business partners and friends with him. So maybe you should fucking lean back, fuck off for 1 second.
Yeah. But no, that's the thing is that Ethan could have just stayed quiet and not talked about it or not joined in. He could have chosen not to say that he thinks Richard is mentally ill or that he thinks Richard is one of the antis and is using anti-Comicsgate arguments. Ethan said that on Kiwi Farms. But yeah, you know what Richard really is? He's a cringe cuck. That's really what he is. And Comicsgate are cuckolds, objectively, not internet
it's
cuckolds.
Just that we've already shown the evidence, but it's shocking how many times we found different ones.
Nick Rekieta's wife has had sex with other men. That Umbrella guy's wife publicly was caught having sex with other men, catfishing other men for sex, for dick pictures, all that shit. And Nick Rekieta covered up for it. It's very important to point out the evidence is all conclusive and has been final. It's completely irrefutable to the point where when confronting Nick Rekieta with it, he immediately he doesn't even deny the evidence. He pretends it never happened and changes the subject and runs away. He also, Nick Rekieta, as we were the first people to ever call this, he himself also is a cuckold. That's been shown, but we had known that since 2019.
And so once again, like a lot of E-celebs, he knows that if he fucking does this, his own stupid ass audience will run interference for him.
Yeah, for against facts and against evidence. The evidence is out there, and his response is to use his audience as a weapon to cover up the truth. And again, none of these other people, none of these other YouTubers ever talk about it. The reason why I'm showing this is because this shows everyone's getting tired of it. Everyone's fucking sick of it. Everyone's sick of Yellow Flash and quartering and these other damage controlled opposition YouTubers. But somebody else mentions the shit got to be too much. How many times can a person bitch about current media product without eating a bullet? There's enough media books, blah blah. But
that is the thing is, somebody's really pathetic if they can keep doing that. It's not even a matter of that he's a fucking pathetic loser whose entire life now has to revolve around this shit fucking media because it's his bread and butter, how he earns a living. You've got to be totally soulless.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm scrolling because again, it just shows every reply to every post. Here, I think this is the way that I saw it. That I follow this Drawthentic person who's an artist. And they say, me waking up to see 20 notifications of your out of the blue mention, which is Betrayer for Windows 2013 Moby Games. I think it's some indie game that people were mentioning. Betrayer HD. Oh. So they were bringing this up because I think it was an example of a game that's like, it's indie made and it's made by one of our guys or something like that. But so that's how I saw all of this. Was I follow them and I saw the whole thing. And I think I'm fucking getting to it. But every time somebody replies, it just puts more posts in between them and me. Yeah, somebody says a random page from Black Clover and a random page from Cyberfrog. Here, I can show these. Somebody says Gantz panels.
I saw the original post, but
Gantz panels are Kino AF compared to most Western comics.
Well, yeah, just just one page. Like, take the best page from fucking Cyberfrog. It doesn't beat the worst page.
Like, again, these are not our followers. These are not people who even know who we are. These are just independently people are coming to this conclusion.
Well, I mean, that was also one of the true things. One of the things people really just don't understand yet, but I've already figured out that I've already clocked. And I actually kind of found it out from fucking listening to Tank being a total bitch about fucking Western art.
He sure was.
Well, I mean, basically,
although, yeah, he was a little bit right.
He represents that entire generation that grew up looking at manga and watching anime.
He's the 20-year-old
like fucking American art.
Yeah, they're nauseated by looking at how stupid and ugly Ethan Van Sciver's art, specifically, like fucking any manga fan, like any 20-year-old,
let alone an artist. An artist is especially going to look at American art, American comic art, is just, it's naturally unappealing.
You can take an artist who is in their 20s in fucking Germany right now and show them Cyberfrog, and they'll start pointing at like here anatomy flaw, giant fucking tangent, coloring flaw, spotting black flaw. They'll just start pointing out all the flaws that Ethan makes all the
There's
time,
the
constantly.
flaws, and then there's just straight up aesthetics.
Yeah, and the
From an
bad
aesthetic
aesthetics.
standpoint, American cape shit style comics are ugly to look at.
The compositions also, they're badly done, and they'll point to the compositions of manga and say, "Here's the correct way to do this. Look at this." We did that video comparing just the kicking motion from Common America versus the kicking non-motion, just an extended leg from Cyberfrog 2. And how lazily it does and how ugly it looks.
Those two pages anyway, just that fucking
how boring it looks.
It doesn't look like he's kicking, and you can barely tell what the fuck he's even supposed to be based on the page to begin with.
It's clearly just two images. The Cyberfrog thing is just like he drew Cyberfrog kicking and then overlaid it to a picture of like a drawing of a giant hornet. And it's like, now Cyberfrog's kicking the giant hornet, and it's clear that they're just two unrelated images sort of slapped over each other. And that's how that's how American comics are drawn. That's not just Ethan. That's the whole American comic thing. And again, the fans of this kind of shit, the fans of American comics, this is why they're so mentally ill all the time and so entitled and so whiny. Is because this is their medium. Their medium is just this dog shit that they convince themselves is good. It's really depressing for them. It's
not for us. We did warn them ahead of time.
A good long laugh at their expense. Sure.
Now it's too late.
But yeah, in response to the comparison of manga to Cyberfrog, this guy says, yeah, they really do have a hard time letting go of the idea that some pages are just for story. Not everything needs to be, oh shit, imagine that thing blowing up to 48 inches. That would make a great poster.
Which is, that was the problem with splash pages to begin with.
Yeah, or especially drawing American comics as just a series of splash pages. Then you're not really telling a story and you don't know how. And other people talk about manga and some other manga stuff. There's also this.
Well, one of the other things that you have to appreciate about manga is also just the fact that they'll fucking show you things that Americans are afraid to draw.
Yeah, and then so I replied to one of the people who was like, "Well, Ethan's art," and so I replied with this: the hero, Ethan's Hero to the LGBTQ, which has an archive link right in there, so you can't even deny. You can't even say, "Oh, he probably didn't say that," or "I can't find it on his Twitter, so it doesn't exist." Now it's archived, but
we didn't bait him into even saying that one. I had no idea he'd even said it.
This guy says
on accident.
Again, somebody who doesn't follow me, just a complete stranger, replying to that saying, "Yeah, typical. I hate these people."
Gradually, I began to hate them.
Yes, it's true that Ethan was kicked out of 109 French. 108, I can understand.
He's gotten backstabbed by 109 friends.
Well, it's like the joke about like you've had 5 boyfriends and they all beat you. 1, 2, 3, 4, fucking 5. You're a fucking button pusher.
But someone doesn't know when to shut the fuck up.
Yes. Somebody else replies to that saying, "Grifters got to grift. They're probably Democrats, but too old to keep up with all the trends of the modern ones."
Yeah,
more true than you might even know.
That is actually an extremely valid and correct point. It's one of the things that I think is probably true about some of these older faggots is that it's like fucking they can't keep up with the pronoun game and the progressive stack, so they just become fucking essentially trad cucks and fucking rhinos.
Here's this was another reply to somebody, a different person, who was like, "Oh, yeah, they were the original one. Again, it's hard to keep up with, like, because it's showing all the things." But here's somebody being like, "Oh, Ethan is a guy, but he's a professional. He might be one of our guys." And I just say nope, and point this thing of Ethan saying, "Is Earthworm Jim anti-gay?" CG isn't. And
again, got also didn't bait him into saying that. He fucking said it on his own.
And it got like a couple of puke emoji reactions. People very much not happy. Another one mentions, makes me think of Vox Day's projects, which is another good point. And yeah, we've done videos about Vox Day's comics. We've done reviews of those back in the day.
I'm willing to go easier on Vox Day, but at the same time, he's just fucking gone.
Yeah.
Vox
yeah,
Day
he's pretty much disappeared.
That's the thing about Vox Day is he had none of these problems.
I know he still does stuff, but the little shred of relevance he almost had is gone already. And he actually makes more comics. He releases more comics. But the thing is, they suck. They're ugly too.
I don't know if he's done anything for a while. That's the thing is like 2021 came along and he just vanished into the ether.
Yeah, and he was around for a while, and again, he still does stuff, but
he had a blog. That's where I know him from.
He was trying to. There's a video on our Subscribestar about this, but he did a video, or he was trying to make a movie based off of one of the alt-hero comics he did, and $1 million was stolen from the fund for the movie from some fraud that they were giving the money to.
Whoever it was that he was working with to try and get this movie made.
Yeah, we did a video about that. Fucking we went over the post. We went over like a news article and about a Teddy Spaghetti's own post detailing what happened.
There's also some of the Revenge of the Sis videos. We didn't make those, but those are from a few years ago. Again,
the years ago ones. That's not about any of the new shit, but that's
he did like a trailer for the fucking movie.
Yeah,
it was literally just like girl in car driving car. Yeah, it's like, this is the fucking #1 movie. It's going to be the best movie.
And it's clearly not going to exist anymore because most of the money they collected for that was just flushed down the toilet. The guy, I think, was arrested already, but I don't. Even Spaghetti, even Theodore Cavatappi was like, yeah, I don't think we're going to be getting most of the money back from that. He said, we might be getting some of the deposit back, but, a lot of money just gone.
It goes to show, like, this is your leader. This is the fucking guy who you're trusting.
Yeah. Did Throne of Bones release? I don't know. Well, I think that was old, so yeah, probably.
Oh yeah, no. Throne of Bones. That was his fucking book. It was his Game of Thrones ripoff.
Yeah, I mean, even the name is a ripoff. But
Game of Thrones, Conan the Barbarian. I don't know. I saw that advertisement on his site 1 billion times, and it's like, well, I could support this, but it looks generic as fuck. I'm not interested at all in like Conan the Barbarian mythos or lore.
Because you actually read his stuff. You used to read his blog.
I read a lot of those blogs
because it went back years.
He was decades. Part of the manosphere, and the more I found out about him, the more disappointing he was. Because it turns out that he's like, he doesn't even live in America anymore. He like fucking lives in Italy or some shit.
I think
Italy or Spain.
Well, there's the Barcelona Boomers thing. That whole meme. Yeah, was also on fucking Revenge of the Sis. They would make fun of him for his channel. One of the programs. If you sign up for Teddy Spaghetti's special streaming platform, you can watch old boomers American boomers just putter around Barcelona where they live now, thanks to fucking,
essentially
the coffers of their child's future.
Tourists. Yes. I did have to have a laugh at one of the clips they show from it, where it's like they're just filming in public, and some guy comes around, like demands they stop filming, and he's like, I was in the military, and it's like, okay, this guy is either fucking getting ass fucked by actual soldiers, or this guy's a legitimate war criminal.
Hopefully
he's like demanding they stop filming, and it's like, okay, they're in public and they're not filming anyone specifically. They're filming the beach or something. It's like, way to go. A nice European mindset.
Yeah.
Way to show how laid back everyone is.
We'll wrap up with the thing. I don't think I showed this. So, but it's it's one of the things I had open. I think I closed it on accident.
It's also yet another example. We didn't goad anyone into saying this. We can't even comment on his fucking his campaigns.
Yeah, but this one of the backers for Cyberfrog 2, after Cyberfrog is supposedly shipping to just a few people. Ethan was bragging about how Cyberfrog's out, it's shipping, it's fulfilling. And Ethan, and so one of the customers detailing what really happened, this guy, Kevin M, says, so after leading us on about having the supply to meet the demand, yet again, you change with a actually moment of telling us that you only had half a supply of product. It gets so much worse. It's funny. This guy's like, fucking, you only had half, and Ethan just buries himself. He's so stupid. Ethan is so fucking stupid.
This is why I don't believe a real customer made that comment to fucking Iconic and fucking Tim.
Yeah,
this is why it was probably a fucking sock puppet.
I can believe that. I don't know, but
because of this, because this is the same day basically. This is 23 hours ago.
That's the thing. We've noticed the timelines always match up perfectly. Yeah, this is from today, where every time something goes horribly bad with Ethan,
or Ethan gets massively humiliated in public, always like within one day,
which includes Common America being successful,
show up out of nowhere.
It includes a Common America launch. When Common America launches, Ethan is fuming mad. He's enraged. Have you ever seen Ethan turn on his webcam on a day where Common America has launched? No, you haven't, because he's so angry he won't even turn on his webcam, so you can see how red his face is.
How red his face
furious
is.
Anger.
How white his beard is.
Yes, how white his, like, even the hilariously way too dark beard dye that he keeps adding is just growing out instantly with like shock white
soy sauce dye. That was great when it was, what was it? It was the Taken,
Jim Norton.
It was the Taken trailer.
Yeah, Liam Neeson, where where Jim Norton was making fun of Taken. It was Patrice O'Neill was defending the movie about how it was just like, hey, he's just not fucking around. He's kicking ass and getting things done.
I mean, they both make good points, but especially
Jimmy always notices the weird details like that. Well, like the face brush in Face Off. And fucking Patrice was like, "You're right, that movie stunk. I'm sorry."
That was one of my favorite things. Is Patrice is like, "You're not going to get me to hate this movie like you did with Independence Day," and all it took was one sentence from Jim Norton. And he's like, "You're right, this movie stinks."
But no, that's where it started, was Face Off, and then with Independence Day and Taken, he was like, "You're not going to pull another Face Off on me with this." And he's, But the way that Jim Norton mentioned that Liam Neeson dyed his hair with soy sauce, that still had Patrice laughing. Of course, everyone was laughing at that because it's kind of true. But here's the thing: Liam Neeson is a movie star. Ethan Van Sciver is just a closeted homosexual, closet SJW, never Trumper, who tries to pretend to be a conservative.
I mean, Liam Neeson has said some dumb shit too, but he is an Oscar award-winning actor.
Yeah. He's a great actor. He's been in lots and lots of wonderful. He was in Darkman.
One of my favorite roles of his of all time, which is fucking Fallout 3.
Yes, the classic game Fallout 3, one of the best Fallout games ever made. Second place, right behind Fallout 76. But but anyways, yeah. So this guy says, you only had half a supply of the product. What, your printer could meet a deadline like you? It's always funny at times. This guy almost seems like he's incoherent with rage.
Yeah, try slamming the keyboard.
Yes, he's fucking just...
Because let's face it, if you actually ever were a supporter or fan of fucking Comicsgate, this is what they're going to reduce you to eventually.
Yeah, at some point, fucking, if you're a supporter of Comicsgate, when the realization of what you've been supporting this whole time finally dawns on you, you're probably going to be apoplectic. And rightfully so, justifiably, I think. So this guy says, your printer couldn't meet the deadline like you. It's always funny at times to see those have had such a low bar of standards for well-placed business practices. Again, phenomenal art, worst businessman ever. And Ethan stupidly replies saying that it's not half the supply of product. He didn't ship half of the books. He didn't get half of the books to ship. He says, not even half the supply, just 200 copies of each book, which was shipped out early because I demanded it.
Somebody actually said in the chat just saying he shipped anything early is hilarious.
Yes,
which is a very good point too, because how the fuck do you even square that circle of saying that you shipped something early when the book itself is not only a year and a half late, but it's like 2 years after you announced it was going to be coming out to begin with.
Yeah, it's fucking even the late book narrative. Oh no, are we pushing the late book narrative?
There's also the fact that he doesn't have as many customers as he pretends to have. He still engages in campaign padding. We know this for certain.
Well, yeah, if he didn't, he wouldn't be using Indiegogo. I mean, even he admits that he has to use Indiegogo.
I mean,
because of
the whole point of
special
doing
deal
that
he has with
is
them.
that it bumps you up on their fucking front page. So it's like,
Yeah,
this is the new trending hot comic.
This is why they got so pissed off about
he can actually get readers.
This is why they got so pissed off about the shadow banning thing, which a lot of that was completely fake. Most of that Comicsgate shadow banning thing was not real, and it wasn't happening for some of it. Some of them apparently were, but they were getting shadow banned because, of course, they're associated with a scam. They're associated with a scam.
Yeah, they should have had their entire campaign
false flagging other creators.
They shouldn't have had a campaign to begin with.
Indiegogo looked the other way at Comicsgate, attacking other creators on their platform and attacking and false flagging other comics creators who were also on their platform. Fucking King Wolf had comics on Indiegogo, and yeah, it doesn't make as much money, but that just proves our point. You make more money by lying. You make less money by telling the truth. Every time you use that or use more money or bigger fan base as an argument, you just prove our point about how the more people are dishonest.
I think is important. People probably don't understand this yet. In the long run, Comicsgate is only going to be remembered as either a footnote or like a horrible disaster.
Yeah, it's already being remembered. And again, I scrolled through the post stuff, stuff. I mean, because that's another example. But again, just look, if you go to Indiegogo, go to Cyberfrog 2 comments and just scroll through them, you will see nothing, just wall after wall, hundreds and hundreds of comments, probably hundreds of pages of comments of people saying, I want a refund. You are incompetent. You're a liar. You're dishonest.
You fucked us over. You're a scammer. Everyone else calling him a scammer. Yeah. Then there's also the fucking the other comics that he either did. He's only delivered one comic, but he's got like a multitude of other campaigns.
Yeah, he's only
funded and finished.
He's only officially finished one new book, Cyberfrog 1. That was the only new book he's officially finished. So over the past 5 years, but even more importantly, right now is Ethan right here admitting that he's just performatively sending out a few copies clearly to other YouTubers who will then push the narrative and help sell the hoax of Ethan fulfilling this comic when he's not. The backers are not getting their comics. Nerdrotic is getting a copy. Quartering is getting a copy so that they can talk about how it's finally out and how it's so great. If they do at all, of course. They may be, because again, a lot of that shit has collapsed. There'll be some perfunctory mentioning here and there, perhaps, but he's sending it to YouTubers. He's not sending it to real customers.
Jim Tuner also fucking points out here, he probably did a limited print and shipping run, so he had to cover the sell copies on eBay himself. That's also one of the things that we learned, though, from the fucking Common America, is that, you print more in bulk, you save some money. So it's funny, if he had actually printed according to the amount that he allegedly sold, he would have saved some money. But the simple fact is, he's not making those sales.
All of your favorite YouTubers are in on the grift. They're in on covering it up. They're in on pushing the hoax. And they're in on not talking about any of the truth or anything real going on. And nobody will pressure them to do it. Yeah, all of them are lol cows, but nobody will pressure them. Nobody will actually confront them and get them to admit it, mostly because they don't have the balls. It's the Nick Rekieta syndrome, where people had to super chat him, making fun of himself and proof that he was a cuck, tricking him into admitting it. Because if you send him too small a super chat, he just won't read it. because he's afraid of being made fun of by his own super chats. So he has to be tricked like an idiot into it, which he did years ago. In fact, that wasn't even new. That was fucking 2020, I think.
It's not even just that he's a lol cow, though, in particular with Nick Rekieta.
Which he always has been, by the way. He didn't become a lol cow. He always was.
Also, like, if you're like a legitimate indie and you're like looking for a way to build yourself up, you cannot trust him.
But also, fucking, he's incredibly, he's always been a lol cow. We made him cry on his own streams in public. That's not my opinion. His Nick Rekieta's own family friends admitted, yeah, Nick Rekieta is a whiny bitch about this right now.
Yeah, he had
that was 2019.
Real legitimate meltdown.
Yes. We're not, that is not our opinion. That's not anyone's opinion. It's objectively true that we completely bitched him.
Those videos of him melting down, they're still on his channel because he doesn't think he has to be ashamed of it.
He's so stupid that, he thought he won when he was crying and whining like a little bitch. We made Nick Rekieta our bitch years ago. That's up. Even Rekieta's own friends think that. I don't think that. Rekieta's friends think that about
him. And now there's this. There's currently
they think that we made
a thing going on between him and fucking Ethan Ralph. Nick Rekieta is getting sued by somebody. Is it Ralph? I don't think it's Ralph.
No, it's some other guy who just threatens to sue everyone. And the funny thing is, though, as much as that guy's a lol cow, people have been rooting for him because they're so tired of controlled opposition Nick Rekieta cuckold. They're just tired. A lot of them are just getting tired of the entire game. And it's been, like we've been saying, the whole thing is fake. The whole thing is controlled opposition. All of it's fake. And people are starting to just realize it.
Especially, though, these people will be gone eventually.
Our realizations of objective reality are slowly leaking into the cultural zeitgeist through powerful psychic waves that are completely uncontrollable.
The troposphere or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, people are unable to stop anything.
The synchronicity.
Yes.
Worldwide synchronicity. Worldwide living death.
Gangster computer god. Yes.
But the thing is also, this used to happen a lot for us in the past too, but we didn't have as big of a fucking digital footprint. We kept to like small forums, 4chan, total anonymity on 4chan.
Yeah, going back decades. We're talking about decades. We fucking have that.
And that would still happen. The thing, I would say something, and then like suddenly a couple weeks later, somebody would have repeated it the exact same way,
verbatim.
Yeah, and then suddenly it fucking starts to get bigger and bigger, and it might go away after a while. But it's like, that's weird. I said that unprompted, and now people are repeating it on other websites and stuff. How'd that happen?
Websites I've never gone to are saying this verbatim thing I said. So again, that's what people really need to fear is our psychic vampire powers or whatever the fuck, psychic werewolf powers.
The fucking presence discipline.
Yes, fear the plate of shrimp and that kind of stuff. So that wraps up just a bunch of stuff. And again, our subscribe star videos, they're a half hour each, so they're not huge long things, but all of them have stuff like this where we
got carried away here. We got a little carried away.
There's a lot to cover though. Yeah, there's a lot.
Jerked quite a few chains in this video.
We call it jerking chains. We like to jerk some chains. But there's wonderful stream. And this is a perfect example. There's tons more stuff just like this going into extreme depth, all of the fucking details, all the evidence, all the proof.
Should we cover some of the chat?
In-depth analysis. I threw some of it on the screen. It is good stuff. But again, the chat is just for
I was busy
for fun.
Warframe.
Yeah, I wasn't looking at I was just fucking staring into the middle distance or something, pulling from the immaterium, the sacred,
the Thousand Island Stare.
Yes, the sacred forbidden truths of the universe just sort of beaming into my mind as I was talking.
Filtering in. What was that fucking thing from? It was like a Serial Experiments Lane, where it's like those
Serial Experiments Lane.
The sphere over the atmosphere over the Earth. The fucking relays human.
They probably got that from us. They got from us from the past.
But we did it better than them. Yeah, we did it better than Serial Experiments Lane.
Also, there will be a Villains of the Snow Sea 3.
There definitely will be, but I mean,
and Literally 3 also. Literally 3 should be coming out very soonish. I mean, I have to get the funding again. People don't fund the actual good stuff as much as they fund the pandering.
If we took in like whatever $1 million or $3.7 million or however much these fucking frauds and idiots took in,
or people who've never made a comic before. You've never made a single comic book in your life, but all of a sudden you get all this money and nobody's allowed to even question that that's suspicious, or else they will sick their entire audience on you.
You're not even allowed to investigate. If you investigate it, it's illegal in so many countries.
You're an SJW if you do that, by the way. If you fucking do any of that, you are an SJW. You are the woke mob, regardless of what you think you are. You are an SJW, and you always will be, and you always have been.
And you and shit taste, defending some fucking terrible comics.
Well, I mean, when their comics actually come out, you can see them, and they're objectively badly written. Even the casual observers, even their fans, are like, "Oh yeah, this sucks. Wow, I fucking paid money for this. Cyberfrog 1 doesn't have. It's just all set up for a story that doesn't even happen. It's just a bunch of useless bullshit." And there's many of these.
These are
fake. These are controlled opposition fake indies.
Nobody's talking about it anymore. It was the fucking biggest seller. And
everyone will start doing it.
Everyone else is going to save comics. He's going to he's making comics great. He's bringing back the 90s. Nobody cares anymore.
Now that we've said this, everyone else will start saying this. Anyways, so again, if you want more of the deep lore, all the information, all the evidence, and everything that everyone else will be saying in the coming years, we've seen that in practice. Other people who have followed us have seen that in practice.
Actually something like
we just covered that
week ago.
We just covered that.
It literally happened again.
It just happened today.
Somebody fucking did it, and it was like, "Oh, we should do a video about that," and then we forgot.
Or it's like, I don't feel like I want to fucking. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
That's the real takeaway from all of this.
Yes, I'm hungry. Yes, but so yeah, if you want more, they're more bite sized. They're easier to manage. They're not giant 3-hour fucking streams. Nice half hour every 5 days on our Subscribe Star that goes into all of this, into even more depth. All the stuff that everyone will be saying. As the saying goes, you can hear about it from Shitty Web Comics today or on Kiwi Farms in 5 years. Again, that was just proven true.
Once again,
so it's not just a saying.
It was fucking, and also the people who are fucking hate following us, the people who hate us and fear us the most, donate to our fucking Patreon.
They even hate to donate. Well, not the Patreon, but the
Subscribe Star at the very least, so that they can fucking hate follow us, hate watch us. We just had somebody on our fucking Discord who gave away the game. They were so angry they could not keep it hidden that they're part of Comicsgate any longer.
They're still very bothered, but they can't leave. They love us too much to fucking.
It keeps happening. That's going to keep happening, and it's also the reason why I don't really want to be famous.
Yes, so go ahead, follow us, donate to our Subscribe Star, Patreon even. I actually did have a Patreon for a while, but that did not last long. That's the thing. You always got to kind of sit on these things and see if they're going to go somewhere. But
and we are backing up the channel, the videos and stuff, because we've learned
there's secret backups. Yes,
have to back them up, but we have to back them up to multiple sites since BitChute.
There's secret backups. But if you
BitChute is being a total bitch.
Yeah, BitChute is garbage. BitChute is complete dog shit. Odyssey and Rumble aren't very good, but there's mirrors on there too. The thing is, what I really need is like being able to unlist a video so that I can put it on the Subscribe Star. So, all the stuff. BitChute at least lets you do that, but BitChute just will eat a video out of nowhere. Anyways, if you want to support the real, actual good comics, if you want to support telling the truth, support us on Subscribe Star.
Comics. We make you're supporting original content. And I don't mean
real,
that as some kind of tagline
creative
to support dog shit.
Yeah, actually good, well-made original content, not just retarded bullshit by a
Made
moron.
with care, made with love.
Anyways, but if you want to support actual good indie comics, first of all, Common America. Common America 7 just launched yesterday. It's only $10 for a fucking big, like 70-page book, hardcover. It's fucking they're excellent books. They have great story. They're selling the Omnibus too, I think, but even if they're not, keep up with them. Check them out. King Wolf Comics. There's King Wolf Comics.
Stop complaining about Iconic.
Yeah.
Stop complaining about how Iconic.
Stop complaining about bad comics. Stop complaining
comic.
about the woke mob. Stop complaining about bad comics, the woke mob, and Disney and Star Wars and all that shit. Just start buying the actual good shit. Go buy Common America and go check out King Wolf Comics on YouTube, on Twitter, or there's a card link on the Twitter account that has you can find King Wolf Comics stuff on Amazon, on Gumroad. You could check out the Gumroad store if you just want to support stuff like Gumroad or whatever. All that shit is perfect. And for everyone who subscribes to our Subscribe Star, for our subscribers, thank you. We appreciate you. Good job listening to Shitty Webcomics. But for everyone else, should have listened to Shitty Webcomics.